Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Saturday edition of the Hooligans, right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey, from the Real Talk Studios. Brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, Certified Public Accountants, 301 Oxford Valley Road, Yardley, Pennsylvania, 215-369-3300. We are here to talk about the Wild Card Weekend and the Birds. How you doing, Tommy? How you doing, Frank?
I'm delicious, brother.
That's good, man.
All right. Hopefully I'm not bamboozled free
Yeah,
today.
that was epic. On Wednesday, the Machado sign, that was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of good entertainment there.
Thanks, Brian Colangelo, for tricking me and the rest of the Phillies fan base.
It's all right.
And for those who fell for it on Wednesday, I apologize.
At least you guys have McCutcheon, though, so there you go. Something to fall back
Something.
on. There you go. But how you feeling, Tom? How do you feel about the Birds this weekend?
About the Birds, I feel great about the Birds.
You do?
Listen, we're in the dance. We asked for opportunities. We're given an opportunity again tomorrow, and all I ask for is another week to talk Eagles.
Right.
But I think we match up really well with the Bears. You know, we'll talk about the rest of the postseason if we get further than tomorrow. But I think we match up well against them. You know, you talk about teams that are sort of built the same way defensively up front. You know, both teams do a great job of getting after the quarterback. You know, what the Bears sort of separate themselves with is they take the football away. And they take it away at a big-time rate. They average about 2 a game. And when you're talking about postseason football, going home or living to fight another week, it's all about the turnover game. You know, can you go in there and not turn the football over? And I know you don't want to hear it, but Nick's known to turn the football over. He's done it early on in games. Last week, if that was a different game or a different team, that come back and bite you in the ass. He's got to take care of the football, and that goes for running backs because this is a defense that is opportunistic, loves to take the football away, and will make you pay for it. So if he can take care of the football tomorrow, offensively, we're in good shape.
Well, I love how you brought up Nick Foles turning the ball over immediately, like almost immediately into the show. Well,
let's put the wait.
All right, let me tell you guys something. All right.
Am I supposed to wait? I mean, you asked me how I feel about the game.
Okay.
He needs to take care of the football.
All right.
Does he not? So you're telling me because I can't bring up a legitimate point so he can go throw 2 picks tomorrow?
He just tied Phillip Rivers with the most completions.
I don't give a fuck what he did.
Okay.
I don't care. Okay. I'm talking about this week. He can't turn the football over this week.
Okay.
I don't care about 25 straight completions. I don't care about whatever little things you want to hang on your wall at home, the crown Nick. I'm talking about he needs to take care of the football this week because if he doesn't, we're going home.
Well, it won't be on Nick Foles. It will be on the coaching because the coaching
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
The coaching
Who throws the football?
The coaching has to make the perfect play calls in order to beat this team. You know
you're
that,
the worst with this.
You know
you're
that,
the worst with this.
Listen. You know that Khalil Mack is going to rush in tomorrow and want to kill Nick Foles. Right?
I know about Khalil Mack.
All right.
Nick Foles can't turn the football over.
So what is Nick Foles best at doing? Checkdowns, right? So when Khalil Mack comes in, he's going to dump it off to Darren Sproles. He's going to look for the short pass, and that's what's going to happen tomorrow. So what I think about this game, I think about trickery plays, short passes all day long, fool the Bears defense. And then when the defense is fooled and they're like, oh, what should we do now? Then you bomb it. That's exactly what you do.
Okay. Well, what does that have to do with him turning the football over?
He's not going to turn the football over.
You're so sure about it. I'm not saying
positive.
I'm not saying he's going to, but over the last 3 weeks, he turned the football over at least once every game. When I'm telling you, when you get to this point, you're going into somebody else's environment, somebody else's home field, playoff football against a damn good defense. You cannot turn the football over.
No, you can't. Especially in the cold weather where he's not really
That's
good
all I'm saying. That's a big key to the game is taking care of the football. I'm not taking a shot at Nick.
Right.
I'm saying I need you not to turn the football over. Any quarterback. Same thing goes for the Bears. I mean, they got guys probably doing the same shows today in Chicago saying, hey, Mitchell, you can't turn the football over tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
I'm not scared of Mitchell Trubisky at all. You know, I mean, he's out of UNC. He looks decent after his first year. I actually had the Bears going to the postseason before the preseason this year, before they got Khalil Mack, because I saw what they had in the defense. And the defense is really good. They've given up a league lead. I think it's 17 points a game, if I'm not mistaken. The Chicago Bears are a good team, and that leads me to my next point. Whoever wins this game tomorrow will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Whoever wins this game, because I think the Bears are that damn good. But the problem is the Bears are running into the NFL's hottest team right now, and that usually bites you in the ass. So I want to see how the Bears honestly do against us, So we'll see what happens there. But I do want to ask you another question, all right? Do you think the defense shows up tomorrow? Because honestly, we need this defense to play like they did the last 3 weeks in order to compete with the Chicago Bears, because the Chicago Bears have some playmakers on offense. They have Tariq Cohen, Taylor Gabriel, Mitchell Trubisky, and Jordan Howard. So I want to see how you think the defense will play tomorrow in order to pull out a win.
Well, I think it all goes back to the last 5 or 6 weeks, right? If we can get pressure like they've been getting on quarterbacks, I think they're in for a long day offensively.
Right.
But to me, it all starts with our front four, front seven, being able to get after the quarterback. Jim's got to disguise blitz packages a little bit better than he has, and we have to put pressure on him early. It can't be something we wait to do or start putting pressure on in the fourth quarter. From that first snap, the first time he goes to throw a pass, he needs to be put on his ass just so he knows that, hey, we're going to be here all day for you.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested to see. I mean, this defense, the good ones travel well, so we'll see how they travel. I mean, listen, they picked it up the last 5 or 6 weeks, so it's hard to say that they would have a bad game in Chicago against an offense that's, not known to light you up. So
right.
I think they have a big game, and they need to have a big game for us to win.
Right.
When you talk about this time of the year, you need your defense to play well or you're not going to advance.
Which brings me up to my poll question. If the Eagles fail to make a run in the playoffs, do you consider the season a disappointment? Yes or no? I'll start you off. Yes. The reason being is because it's the new norm to win titles in this town. All right, we won our first one. Now we're trying to rack them up, trying to get up there with the best, the Cowboys, the Steelers, even the Giants. All right, if you don't win the Super Bowl, the season's a failure. It is. All right, I don't care if you make the playoffs. Do you make the playoffs to lose? No, you don't. So if you don't at least go to the Super Bowl, fuck it. No, you got to win it, or else it's a failure.
See, I can't buy into that the
Why?
way the season's played out.
Come on.
Seasons change and expectations throughout the year change. This is a football team that 4 or 5 different occasions throughout this year, they were essentially eliminated from the playoffs, right? I mean, nobody would give them a chance to make the dance. This is a team that's been resilient and got themselves into the dance. Now, is that saying that, I'm okay with losing? Absolutely not.
No.
But it's hard in this league to win back-to-back Super Bowls, right? It's hard in this league to go on the road for 3 games and get to the Super Bowl. Yep. This isn't at home. If this is at home, then I'm saying, anything less than a Super Bowl appearance is a failure. Yep. But this is a team that's going 3 straight road games just to get to the dance. That's tough uphill sledding right there, and I'm not going to say that's a failure if they don't get to a Super Bowl or win it this year. Now, we can reboot this and have this conversation as the start of next year, but just them getting into the dance, how this season and how it started and it's played out, where it's been a pretty much mediocre season throughout the whole year for this football team, for them to get into the dance is big time successful for me. So I would feel not bad, but I would think that I'm being too much of a homer in a way to say, well, you got to win a Super Bowl or it's a bust. Right. I feel like I got to be unbiased about this and not try to be a fan, because the fan in me says, hey, Super Bowl or bust. But the realist in me says, come on, man. We expect this team to go on the road for 3 straight games.
Why not?
Anything's possible, but I mean, you're saying this. You're saying this all because of one dude. You ain't saying this because of the fucking team, and that's why you're delirious, and that's why you're making anybody listen to this fucking flat out clueless. It's not about one dude. Nick Foles isn't by himself taking us to a Super Bowl. It's got to be a team effort, just like it was last year, babe. It ain't no different. This team isn't as good as they were last year. So I'll be lying to the people out there if I said, oh, Super Bowl or bust. I'll be lying to your face.
Who are the last 3 teams that we beat, and where were they at?
Okay, home. You're going to talk about Houston?
Okay.
Home. Okay. The Rams were in L.A. That's not a home field advantage, so don't even try to pull that move on me.
Okay.
That's home field. And we went to Washington where they had nothing to play for.
Okay.
And they already quit. So what am I crowning? Because I know you're going to crown something
They shut them out 24-0. They didn't let them score a fucking point. They barely let them cross
me and
midfield.
you are better quarterbacks than Josh Johnson. So I ain't crowning a defensive performance against a QB who shouldn't even be playing. I can't crown that. They played well. This is the test.
Well, they thought Josh Johnson was better than Mark Sanchez. So I mean,
that's semantics. on who's better, but
Right.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's saying that two piles of shit. Which one smells
Yeah.
better?
They should have started Mark
But
Sanchez.
one of those piles of shit played in the United Football League.
Who was that?
Josh Johnson.
Yeah, journeyman.
The
yeah.
Sacramento Mountain Lions. Remember that league, guys?
Holy shit. Wow.
Ugh.
What a garbage league.
Yeah.
See, Dirk, I don't agree with you. They got to win, Tom, or it's a bust. I'm not.
I
buying,
agree with you. Who said that?
Dirk.
Dirk.
Dirk Dowd.
Good
I
man.
don't
Good
buy
man.
into
There you go.
that it's a must win.
Wait, let me ask you a question. If you go to the poker table and you lose a pot, is that a win?
No.
Okay, it's a loss. It's a loss. You're in the playoffs.
We're comparing now poker
Poker to
'Cause it's the
to
same fucking
NFL
thing.
football.
All right, so
Really?
you go into the dance, all right? You say, oh, we had a good game, but we lost. Is it losing or winning?
Listen, brother, I'm going to wake up Monday after a loss not happy, but it
Okay.
doesn't change what the expectations should be for this football team. The expectations obviously change because you get in the dance, but okay, I can't expect them to go win 3 in a row on the road and then a fourth and win a Super Bowl with the roster that's assembled right now.
I like the roster right now. I like how hot this team is playing. I like how they're playing as one. And this is exactly what I thought was going to happen when Nick Foles took the helms. Because when Nick Foles takes the lead of the ship, you saw Carson this year. He wasn't playing that well. All right?
But his numbers are better than Nick.
All right,
so,
he went 3
so
and out.
try
He
again.
rushed everything. He wasn't executing. Look at Nick Foles. He comes in. The run game's better. He executes the short passes. He executes the deep passes. The defense plays better because they're slowing down. They're taking
It's
their
not true.
breath.
It's not true.
It's completely
It's not true. It's a backup
completely
goalie
true.
mentality,
No,
and guys
it's not.
pick it up. It absolutely
Tom,
is.
you're in love with Carson Wentz.
It's fucking
Listen,
nothing
I
to do.
understand it.
Rick, I'll get up and walk off the show right now if you tell me what you're going to put words in my goddamn mouth. The only guy blowing somebody here is you, okay? I'm not blowing Carson Wentz. This has nothing to fucking do with Carson. How many times I got to say this? You're going to act like one guy changed his season. No, he didn't. Other guys decided to start playing football. And if you don't see that, you didn't watch the first 8-9 games of this season.
I watched the last 3.
Okay, bro. So we're winners of 2 or 3 before Nick even took over. Is there any credit there?
All right.
You want to play this game with me? This narrative that I don't like Nick and I'm a Carson blower, which is bullshit. I know
never
who
said you don't like Nick.
I know.
All right.
No, you have, and other guys have. Now let me make this clear again.
All right.
Carson's our franchise quarterback. I'm done talking about Carson. Okay, he's not playing this Sunday.
Okay.
Nick is. So stop bringing the Carson Nick up. I'm talking to you about that. It's not one guy who changes. Wait, how about we give some credit to the coaches that were getting ran out of town? Right, Mike Rowe was getting ran out of town.
Not anymore.
Jim Schwartz was getting ran out of
Not
town.
anymore.
They've coached better,
Yeah.
okay? Guys have played better. This isn't on one guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sick of this fan base, making this into a one guy
But
thing.
that's what winning does to you, all right? The guy that won the Super Bowl, everyone's going to praise a little bit more because he got
Okay,
you the
praise
trophy.
away. I'm not taking anything away from him winning the Super Bowl.
But
Thank you, but he didn't win it
But
himself.
Tom, my problem with you is, okay, and I'm being completely honest, you're praising Carson Wentz for
What the hell did I say about Carson on this show before you brought it up or somebody else brought it up? What have I said about
Nothing,
Carson Wentz?
nothing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So stop telling me what I'm saying. I mean, you're putting words in my mouth to fit an agenda, which is fine because I'll bury agenda shit.
Why?
I'll bury it because I don't have an agenda. My agenda is
I
to win
don't either.
losses. You absolutely
No, I
do,
don't.
and now you're lying more to the people. I'll expose. There'll be exposed talk all day today.
What's my agenda?
Your agenda is it's Nick's better than anything around, and Nick's the reason why we're winning games solely because of Nick, which is false, which is so untrue. Guys have played better. Guys have blocked better. All this plays a part.
But why are the guys blocking better?
Bro, all the 6 highest paid quarterbacks, 6 of the highest paid quarterbacks aren't even in the goddamn dance. So what does that tell you on how important the QB position is compared to a great roster? You tell me, because I'll wait.
Well, a good QB is
No, answer my question.
Okay.
I just said to you, there's 6 of the highest paid quarterbacks aren't even in the playoffs this year. So what
It's
does
a
it
team
tell
sport.
you? You just made my point.
It's a team sport.
But you refuse to say team sport. All you want to do
But
is give credit to one
everything
guy.
got better when he came in. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened. Like, the defense was playing like absolute dog shit. Like you've been saying all year. You're like, Jim Schwartz sucks. Jim Schwartz sucks. And then all of a sudden,
'Cause he's
Nick
missed- he's
Foles
Uncle
comes in, the
Missionary.
defense plays great, and Jim Schwartz is not fired anymore. So that's exactly what I'm saying.
So
Like,
Nick plays D.
Nick doesn't play D. He
I'm just
slows
confirming.
everything down.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Come on, dude.
He doesn't go 3 and out consistently like Carson Wentz did. All right?
His numbers are better, Kyle. If you want to tell me that, yeah, Nick's played really good. Nobody's taking that away. But stop shitting on the franchise guy to fit a
I'm not
fucking
tr-
agenda.
I'm not trying
You just
to
keep
show him.
saying that
Listen.
Carson wasn't good enough. Yeah, we know he was inconsistent. His numbers are better.
I love
So
Carson.
stop.
I love Carson Wentz.
No, you don't.
No, listen. All right, listen. I love Carson Wentz. He's going to say I don't, but stats are flawed. Okay, he had 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. If you have the eye test, he wasn't playing as good as those numbers said he was playing. During that Cowboys game, that was one of the worst halves of football I've ever seen in my life. He comes in the second half when it was too late and they lost in overtime. So how the fuck do you want to tell me that Carson Wentz was playing better than Nick Foles? How do you want to say that?
Because he's doing it 80%.
Oh my God!
So what's his 100%? Because
the Saints game, right? Yeah, he looked like a peach there. He looked phenomenal.
Because he gave up 48 too, right?
Yeah.
Because he played defense too, right?
Well, they put up 7 points, which wasn't even him. It was Josh Adams.
I'm asking you, he played defense too, right?
No, he didn't.
Okay, well, I mean, everything fits whatever you guys want to say.
Yeah.
I don't even care about the Carson Nick because I know who the quarterback of the future of this football team is. So to me, it's a non-issue and a non-argument. The argument is, like I said and started to show off, he can't turn the football over Sunday. He's done a little bit too much over the last 3 weeks. Yeah. You're not going to win on the road like that. Right. You're not. Not in playoff football.
You're never going to win on the road when you turn the ball over. It just doesn't happen, okay? But I like the confidence in our team right now to the point that we won't turn the ball over, all right? Our running game's good. Our quarterback position's good. Our wide receivers are great now. Alshon Jeffrey finally has a quarterback that throws his way. So there you go. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey has been a stud ever since Carson Wentz has left the field. He's been a stud.
That's funny because when Alshon first came back, he was pretty hot the first 2 weeks he came back, was he not?
And everyone dissed Foles for playing like shit when Alshon Jeffrey wasn't even on the field. So, I mean, listen, you could have it any way you want.
I don't know which way you want it. I don't think the people out there understand which way you want it.
He says I have an agenda, but everyone wants to be blind and see that.
What blindness am I? What blindness have I had about Nick? Have I not given credit? No, I have. So try again.
I don't think so.
I've done a lot of shows and a lot of talking. I've given him a lot of credit, but it's not all about him. I'm not a believer in that in any quarterback. Just like 11-3 last year or 11-2 before Carson went down wasn't just all because of Carson. It was a part of it because he was having a monster year. But it's everybody. To win in this league, it's everybody.
He was the MVP before he went down last year. Carson Wentz was very good last year. But people are trying to bring over 2017 to this year, and the guy's not the same. That's what I'm pretty much trying to say. Everyone wants to be blind because he looked fantastic last year, but he didn't this year.
I don't think anybody's being blind, Kyle.
I think they are because they love the guy because they love what he saw last year.
Should we not love our franchise guy?
We should, but is he going to be the same guy from here on out? That's just basically the question I'm asking.
Who's saying he
Because I'm not blind, okay?
And I am.
I've been watching. All right?
Who says he can't be?
I want Carson to succeed. Okay,
debatable.
But no, I do. Tom, I really do want Carson to succeed. But the problem, because I know Nick Foles is out of here next year, regardless of what happens, because they put all their chips in on Carson Wentz, and maybe you have 2 Super Bowls even without him. But what I'm trying to say is that Carson Wentz, you don't know what he's going to be because he came off a brutal injury. Now he's a back injury. 6 years in a row, the guy has something injured in his body. 6 years in a row.
Same with Nick, and it's not 6 years in a row.
6 years in a row.
Okay. Whatever you want to say. He played a full 16 games his rookie year.
Okay, fractured ribs in the preseason, which weren't that big of a deal, but
they weren't fractured, but okay.
I think they were fractured.
Okay, but whatever. It's semantics. He played a full 16 games, which is something Nick Foles has never done in this league. Yeah. So you want to continue this? Because I'll shut this the hell down too. Because you're spinning it around. Like, the people want to hear about the football game. They don't give a shit about Carson/Nick. All right, let the dial fill that agenda-filled bullshit. Let us talk about the game coming up, which is the most important thing, not on who somebody thinks is better or who this person thinks is better. It's realistic on who the better quarterback is.
No, I'm telling you why the team is better and in the playoffs right now. This is what I'm telling you, and I'm trying to expand it out to you a little bit.
What do I need expansion on? The team's in the playoffs because all 53 guys decide to step the hell up and play football. You want to know why they're in the playoffs? That's why they're in the playoffs. Okay? Don't give me this. It's all because Nick came in and the Savior's back and Jesus Christ has risen. It's not like that, dude. Right. Nick is good. Okay? Okay? He's the best backup in the league. All right, but the stop, it's all about him. Well, as soon as Nick came in, we caught fire. Blah, 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 blah.
We did.
Okay, we played better football. You talk about eye tests. Well, where's your eyes then? Because you haven't seen the defense play better football? Mm-hmm. And you're going to say that because of Nick? No, Nick's turned the football over a lot the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he has.
Okay, but the defense has played better. So how's that? Because Nick's keeping him on the field longer. Everything you're saying, I can spin it right back around to you and tell you you're wrong.
But before Nick Foles played against the LA Rams, I was like, the defense is going to slow down. They're going to play much better because he's in there and he goes with their pace. He's not going to go 3 and out, not executing, and everything's going to be A-okay. And look what happened. So, I mean, listen, I love Carson Wentz. I hope he gets better. Don't even think about using him as an emergency quarterback in the playoffs. Don't think about it. Rest him. We'll see what happens next year with him. But right now, it is Nicky time. It is Bird's time. And going into Chicago tomorrow, we are a 6.5-point underdog, which I think that line is ridiculously huge. I think we win this game outright, to be honest with you. And I think we win by 10 points. I just see how the Chicago Bears, they're going into the first playoff game since 2010, and they have a really young quarterback with no experience in the playoffs. I just see our experience overmatching them, and I think we come out victorious.
And by the way, if we didn't do a show, me and you, without yelling and screaming about Carson and Nick, we wouldn't be doing it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't have a 10-point win, but I have a 7-point win.
Yeah.
Win, like a 24-17 game. And then this isn't me shitting on Nick. It's just a concern of mine and a lot of quarterbacks in this league.
Mm-hmm.
But playing in cold weather environments really haven't suited him over his career. So I'm interested to see, like we talked about, can he take care of the football, and are we still able to take some shots with the conditions? Now, it's not going to be like snow and that kind of conditions, but it's the Windy City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the difference between him and Carson's ball is realistically is, Carson's a zip, and Nick doesn't have as much arm strength in terms of them 5-10-yard passes.
I honestly
like
think Nick
Carson
has a
does.
better deep ball, though.
No, he throws a better
Yeah.
deep ball. That's not the point. But in that, like them 15, 10-yard throws, I'm interested to see in the cold weather, one, if we can protect him enough to get rid of the football, and if he can avoid turning the football over tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to keep running back to that because I think that's how we're going to win the game.
Right. No, that's fair. We have anything over there on Facebook?
Tons.
There we go.
Where are we at?
They've been flying all over the place.
Yeah,
Facebook.
I've been seeing on this when they're on up.
Yeah, it's going up and up and up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Samong Chobe, I probably said his name wrong. Said, love both of you guys. A2 Day.
Thanks,
Yep, and we're
brother.
A2Ding a lot, and that's fine. That's why we do it. Dean Jones says 28-17 Birds.
Okay.
Spielman said he thinks the Eagles will win because of their defense, and that Mitch, not Mitchell, will show up and have to move the ball. Eagles 13-10. So that's coming from a Giants fan too.
Okay.
And Brian Batty says only going to be about 40 degrees Sunday, I believe. So that's really good, and that leads me to being more confident in our offense.
Yeah.
And that's any offense going and playing in conditions that aren't really suitable for throwing the football, because I don't trust our run game enough to be able to go and really sustain and gash plays and stuff like that. We've seen it. We got to be able to throw the ball enough.
You're going to be using a lot of sprawls tomorrow.
I agree with that.
Sprawls. Yeah.
We agree on something. Joseph Frank, which would be the same keys if Carson was starting. So, and I never said they wouldn't be. What the fuck is wrong with people? Did I say, like, it'd be the same conversation, babe? I said on both teams. Both teams, whoever wins the turnover battle is walking out of Soldier Field with a win tomorrow. It's simple. You cannot let them take the football away. Nobody in football does it better than the Chicago Bears in 2018. You can't let them do it to you and give their offense good field position, stuff like that. You have to win the turnover rate
They
tomorrow.
have solid corners.
And if that was Carson, if that was Nate, if that was Doug quarterbacking, if that was McNabb back out of retirement, if that was Bobby fucking Hoying, Rodney Pete, Randall Cunningham, I don't give a rat's ass. You can't turn the football over in the postseason. What did Nick do really well last year, Kyle? He didn't turn the football over.
Right. In the playoffs.
Right, he had the one in Atlanta that we got. Well, listen, to go to Super Bowl, you need some lucky bounces. It's part of the gig.
The one that hits the guy right.
Yeah.
Keanu
Keanu Neal hits Neal right in the knee, bounces up, Torrey catches it. But the point of the matter is, okay, it wasn't a turnover.
Right.
So we didn't turn the football over in the postseason last year. We took it away a lot.
And that game was freezing, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to run the football, but it's up to our defense tomorrow.
Yeah.
I feel like our defense really got to show up.
Philly Jim says right here on YouTube, Foles threw 352 and 3 touchdowns the last time we played the number 1 defense in cold weather.
What was it again? Read that again.
Philly Jim said Foles threw 352 yards and 3 touchdowns the last time he played the number 1 defense in cold weather.
Yeah, but where was that game at, Philly Jim?
That was, I think I could remember that. That was a long time ago. That wasn't recent. Yeah, that wasn't recent. That had to be around probably the last time he was here.
I'll look that up.
Well, my buddy Stick says, why isn't anybody talking about Chicago's defense versus the better offenses in this league? And there's truth to that. Like I said,
They limited the Rams to 6 points.
This isn't the 85 Bears by any stretch, but this is a defense that's opportunistic and they take the football away a ton. Yeah. That's why they're successful defensively. They're not going to necessarily shut you down.
Yeah.
But they just make plays back there.
Chris Garland said, we need to chill. I'm like, no.
Who?
Oh.
I need to chill?
No, he said, you need to chill.
Oh,
like, no.
that game
Yeah, I don't chill.
that Philly Jim was talking about, NFC Championship game last season.
That wasn't in the cold, though. I was there.
352, 3 touchdowns.
It was like 52 degrees.
Vikings were the number one defense at the time.
Yeah, it was perfect weather.
It was good weather, but it wasn't cold weather like the last 2 games of our season last year. Oakland and the
Cowboys.
The Cowboys game where temperatures were in the single digits.
Yeah.
I would consider that a cold weather game, though.
Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, it was good winter weather, but it's not like we're playing in Alaska or anything.
He did
true.
he did light them the fuck up, though, Jimmy. He really did. It was beautiful.
No, he did.
That pylon touchdown to Torrey in the end
And
zone.
you wonder how much that Patrick Robinson pick, loosened everybody up.
Huge.
You know what I mean? It's obviously an intense game when you're talking about NFC title and going to
If that
Super
stadium had
Bowl.
a dome on it, it would have blew off. It was so loud that game. It was ridiculous. You could hear us across the Delaware River. It was nuts. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think Foles does what he does tomorrow. I don't think he has a great game, but I think he's serviceable enough to where we could be balanced and we can take it home.
You think we can run the ball enough tomorrow?
I do. I think Josh Adams. I'm one of the only people that actually likes Josh Adams. I think Josh Adams, when you give him the amount of carries, like 15, 16 maybe, he'll turn it into like 80 maybe.
Yeah, see, I don't see him touching the ball a lot tomorrow.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I just ever since the fumble, he really hasn't got the carries, and I know he's had the hip issue that he's been banged up with. I think you're going to get a lot of Wendell Smallwood and Darren Sproles tomorrow. I think you go out.
Wendell's been impressive.
Yeah, I think you go out with your 2 backs that have taken care of the football because in this kind of situation, like we talked about, even goes to the running back. It's not even just Nick turn the football over. You can't. Our running backs can't fumble the football. Nobody can. Mm-hmm. Nobody can offensively. And Joseph Franks has got to do what we did to Houston's front.
Yep.
Agree.
The offensive line sucks.
Dean Jones said score over 20 that he believes the Eagles win. But let me ask you, okay, so defensive lines, who do you give the edge to, or is it a wash to you?
I'd probably give it to the Bears.
Give it to the Bears?
Yeah, I'd probably give it to the Bears. The Bears have been dominant up front the whole year. Khalil Mack's 2 guys in 1. So, I mean, you really – yeah, I have to give something to the Bears. I'll give them the line. And finally, they have an offensive line that's serviceable after years and years of giving that pile of dog shit before Jay Cutler. So, the Bears are a good team. And like I said at the beginning of the show, whoever wins this game is going to represent the Super Bowl. I just truly believe that because the Bears are a dirty team, but they're running into a really hot team. So that's just how I see it with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with a little bit. I think I said last night that if they win this game, I can
Nobody
see
has us beating the Saints. I do, but that's for another week.
I can see us beating the Saints if we win this game.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think it. To tell you, like we talked about earlier, to say it would be a failure if they didn't get the Super Bowl is tough for me to do.
Yeah.
When you're talking about having to go on the road so much.
Right. Exactly.
And you snuck in, but sometimes them teams that are the ones that sneak in are the ones that do the most damage. We're definitely set up to do the most damage.
Yeah. Chris Garland, a Cowboys fan here over here on YouTube, says if Dallas wins, I hope you guys win because I'd rather my Cowboys play the Rams than the Saints. But listen, my dream outcome would be the Eagles-Cowboys title game. That's my dream outcome. I think that would be awesome if we kicked your guys' ass in your own stadium to send you guys home and us go to the Super Bowl again. I do have Dallas winning tonight. I have them winning tonight, and I have Houston and the Colts as kind of a toss-up. I don't know who to pick in that game, but the Dallas is a lock. I have Dallas winning by 10 points, to be honest with you. So there's that. You want my little dose of Cowboys guarantees? I guess that's the word. I don't know.
Billy, let me say it. Mashraki. Teams that sneak in are hungry. It's truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's truth.
Yeah, because if we didn't sneak in, we'd be saying like, what if? But now it's the if.
Yeah.
And
like we said, I just wanted the opportunity to get in the playoffs so that we could nobody
see what happens.
So nobody could tell us oh man, you guys won the Super Bowl and then you didn't even make the playoffs next year. We can say through that's why it's success to me because we can say through I feel like adversity wise we went through a lot more this year injury wise and all that than last year. So now we can sort of stick our chest out a little bit and say, oh well, we didn't make the Super Bowl and lay an egg the next year. Yeah, we didn't have the kind of year that we probably all projected us to have, but we still got in the dance. And that's hard to do. It's hard to win back-to-back Super Bowls. It's hard to go back to them consistently.
Right.
And it's sure as hell hard to get yourself up the next year to just get back into the playoffs. We found that out the hard way.
100%.
So anything's a positive. But for me, and I sort of agree with James Wilder on this a little bit, where he says they got to win this week, and then it's a success. So I'll buy into that side of it where, okay, just give me one win in the playoffs. But then, like I said, any Monday after a loss or when the game ends, in the moment as a fan, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
But I think I can live with it a little bit more if they give us another week of football.
It seems like some of those fans are still stuck in the past to where they expect us to lose and not be heartbroken. It's a different norm, guys. You got to go for the big trophy every single year. If you don't get it, it happens, all right? You know, you're not going to win every year. I understand that. Tommy said that before. But you have to go for the ultimate prize. You got to have a different mindset. You got to have, honestly, the Yankee mindset. You have to go after the big prize. And if you don't get it, it's not a success. This is a new norm. All right, we won that first Super Bowl. How many more do you want? I want fucking 10 by 2040. So, I mean, to me, it's just a different norm. It's a different feeling. And being in the playoffs, honestly, when we got in the playoffs, I was like, cool. I thought it was great. And I was like, wow, we're back in the playoffs. But what can we do with it? You know, that's exactly what I thought. I didn't see it as a success. I saw it as someone else helping us get in, and now we got to make the best of it. You know, I just have a different mindset than people, I guess. But, you know, if you guys...
No, you want to win.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I hate losing at anything. Like, I could race you down the street just running, and if I lost, I'd feel really bad about myself.
Yeah, a competitor.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We want competition. Josh Lang says, I would like to prove to these people who call it a fluke that we are a badass team. No, I love it, brother. Yeah, that's why, like, a win to me in the playoffs really solidifies a successful season because it's like, bro, look at what our roster went through. Look at our secondary. Look at our running backs. Look at the guys who have been out for a long period of time, if not on the IR. You lose one of your best pass rushers for the season. I mean, you know, guys were in and out. Your middle linebacker was hurt half the year. One of your other running backs who's back now in Sproles was out almost the whole year. You know, Mike Wallace from week 2 on, gone for the year. You know, and then you look at all your secondary injuries. Rodney McLeod, huge loss. Then Jalen, then Darby. Ajayi, like, it's a lot. Last year was 5 guys.
And you're still in the playoffs.
And you're still in the dance.
And you beat some pretty good teams along the way. So, I mean, that's definitely not a fluke. You beat, like, the best team in football to get to where you're at right now. And we were 13.5-point underdogs that game, and we were kicking the shit out of them at one point in that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think anything could happen, to be honest with you. And to be honest, my eye test, I think this team, I'm not going to say better than last year, but
you can't.
It's a weird one, man.
It's different. It's different. I know it looks and feels a lot the same.
Yeah.
I mean, we all obviously feel that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a lot of talent on that football field.
No, because you know
football team last year that was healthy. You know what I mean? There was it was loaded.
See, I loved Patrick Robinson. I thought that breakup was with him in the organization was bad. I think Avonte Maddox is much better. I think the guy's a stud. I think you should keep Sidney Jones off the field as long as you can. And, yeah, I really like our situation with our corners right now. Besides, who am I even thinking about? Yeah, Jalen Mills isn't even playing. I like Avonte Maddox. Wait, who's lining up across from Avonte Maddox?
Rasul's played well.
Oh, my God, Rasul. How can I forget about him? Rasul's played very well. Right now, I like our situation on defense. I do.
Yeah, I mean,
Hicks is playing too this Sunday.
Yeah, Hicks is in. You know, but like I said, can we get pressure up front on Mitchell and make it a tough day for him?
He's the guy you can do it against. Because Mitchell Trubisky, he's not very mobile. So, yeah, make him a statue in the pocket, drop him a couple times, make him scared, and there you go. You got to win. So, there you go. Someone just said trade Sidney Jones in the comment section on YouTube.
Takes 2 to tango on that.
Yeah.
So
it definitely does. It's like the Markelle Fultz situation with the Sixers. You know, you just don't know what to do with it. Both Washington guys, so there you go. Stay away from Washington when you're drafting Eagles and Philly or anyone else.
Dean Jones says, if we stop the Bears' running game, they don't scare me through the air.
Like I
would
said,
agree with that.
They have Tariq Cohen and they have Jordan Howard. Tariq Cohen is much more dangerous in my opinion. Yeah, we could stuff him. We have Fletcher. Fletcher Cox is a fucking beast at stuffing the run. So, yeah, we're going to stuff them. I don't see how we lose this game, to be honest with you. I think 6.5 is disrespectful, and we're going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. That's just how I see it. And we're the last game on Sunday. So
and Mitchell is mobile, though.
A little bit.
Well, big time.
I haven't really watched him.
Yeah, he's big time mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like him whatsoever, but he's big time mobile. I mean, that's where he can hurt you. That's where quarterbacks have hurt us.
What was his 40 this year?
He's got to be a 4.6 guy.
Really?
4.75. I mean, he's probably a 4.75 guy. I'm not gonna say 4.6. I don't know.
So he's like an Alex Smith.
He can move.
Okay.
I mean, that's what he brings to the table. Is his mobility outside the pocket. He can make throws on the run. I'm not a big Mitchell guy, but he can hurt you with his legs, and he's done it to a bunch of teams. So, again, can you contain him? Can you keep him in the pocket and make him have to beat you inside the pocket? I always feel like the wide 9 comes up pretty big in these situations. Now, what happens is the wide 9 is great, but if I'm not getting my pressure from my tackles to cave that pocket in, then he can really hurt you outside the pocket or stepping up and running. So he's a guy that, obviously when you talk about stopping the Chicago Bears running game, you have to factor Mitchell Trubisky into the Chicago Bears running game. Right. So now, okay, I got to stop Cohen when he gets touches. I got to stop Howard obviously when he gets touches, and I got to stop the crumb Mitchell who makes you call him Mitchell when he gets touches. And if I can do that, like these guys, like the family's saying, and I can make them have to throw the ball to beat us, but bigger than that, Kyle, let's play right into that.
Right.
We need to get an early lead here.
We need to take the ball. We can't defer it.
But I don't mind the defer because I love the ball at halftime because I think we're great at second half adjustments.
In the playoffs, you need to take the ball.
But to me, we kicked the ball all last year. So, I mean, I say what works. You know what I mean? Doug always defers. I'm fine with it. But my point is we need to, whenever we get the football, we need to go up 7-0. All right? You got to put the pressure on them. Right? You can't – they love getting leads on teams. That's where Chicago's successful. They'll get a 10-0, 17-point lead on you. Now their front can pin their ears back and come get you. So what we have to do is sort of change that. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to get a 10-0 lead on them, but if we can get out 3-0, 7-0, and put the pressure on the rookie quarterback – not the rookie quarterback, the second-year quarterback in his first time in the dance at home, put all the pressure on him. Because we've been down this road before. The least we can say this with most of the guys that are starting on Sunday for us have been through this environment. Yeah. Now, not on the road. We didn't go winning on the road last year. But we still won playoff games.
Right.
And to win playoff games and to go into these situations, you sort of know, energy-wise what you need to win the game. So, I'm excited because I think this is what scares me. Even with Nick, it hasn't really changed too much. We don't score enough in the first quarter. We scored a little bit more, but not nearly. We're the worst team in first quarter points in the NFL.
Our quarter's a second.
Yep. We have to come away with 7 at least in this first quarter throughout the playoffs. If then you talk about we're going to go to the Saints. Well, we can't get away with a goose egg in the first against them. I don't think they're nearly as good of a team they were when we saw them through that stretch. They were rolling people. Yeah. They haven't been as good offensively. Defensively, they've really gotten it done. Offensively, they haven't been that juggernaut over the last 3 to 4 weeks like we saw.
Right.
So I'm right with you. You win this week. I said it last night. I think we go and beat them there.
Yeah.
I do, and it ties me right where it ties you. Yep. It could be Eagles Cowboys NFC title game, but the Cowboys got to get through today first. I disagree with you there. I think Seattle goes in and beats them, and all the Cowboys fans I was talking to, that was sort of the team they didn't want to see.
You know what, though? The reason why I picked the Cowboys today –
Wouldn't it be great if that, like the holder, and even though it's not going to be Dak, just drops the extra point for a win or something.
Funny. No, the reason why I picked the Cowboys today is simple. They shut down the Saints at home. When you shut down a team that potent of an offense at home, you look at Seattle's offense. They have Carson at running back, and they have Russell Wilson, and they have a couple of studs. I wouldn't say studs at wide receiver. They have Lockett.
Serviceable guys, right? I mean, Doug Baldwin's good, I think. I like Doug.
I mean – the only way that I could see Seattle beating the Cowboys is by experience. That's pretty much the only way. I think the Cowboys are a better team, honestly. So I don't know. I don't like saying that. I don't
disagree with you.
That makes me throw up a little bit, but I mean,
it's unbiased.
Yeah.
To the point. No, I agree with you. And I just want to say, like we talked about, I don't want to keep jumping back to this, but I want Nick to win. Yeah. And we can talk about what happens after this season. Like, I'm a guy who has no problem with for the right money, keeping him as their backup. I'm not ready to be like,
cost you.
Oh, everything costs in this league.
Yeah.
All right, but it's how much do you value him around your locker room?
I just don't want him to go to the fucking Giants.
No, I don't think that's happening.
No.
Dirk says he wants the ball first. Doug Zeke says, "Call me Mitchell. If I'm on the Eagles day, I want to fuck him up even more so."
He really says that?
Yeah, he makes you call him Mitchell. Yep, he said it on draft night. He's a weirdo.
All right, so I looked up the reason why he wants to be called Mitchell, only because that's what Mommy says. Mommy wants Mitch's mother wants his son to be called Mitchell, only because she likes the sound of it.
Wow, we thought Fultz's mom was getting a little too into the day-to-days.
Yeah, Fultz is
Mitch's mommy wants him to be called.
I don't support putting hands on women. I'm not a supporter of putting hands on women, but You know, maybe maybe tell Daddy to take her in the back room and you know, somebody call Greg Hardy and straighten her out.
Holy fuck. He's a mixed martial arts fighter now, by the way. Shit.
I don't condone that.
No. He hates Kareem Hunt.
I'll take him, but yeah.
Oh, I will too.
I told you, give it a couple weeks and I'm in.
Yeah, there you go. I would have taken Kareem Hunt a while ago, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. Saints want the Eagles. Want to be the. Listen, if we go to New Orleans next week and face the Saints, we're gonna remember everything that Kamara said last year, and we're gonna win that game. But we're talking about this game right now. I think I'm just looking ahead because I don't see us losing to the Bears. I just don't. I don't care what the line says. I think the hotter team always beats the better team at the end of the day. That's what happened with the Giants against the 15-1 Green Bay Packers back in 2012. It just always happens that way, you know. And we got lucky. We got into the playoffs, and we're gonna make what's best with it, you know.
Yep. Joseph Frank says Alshon going to play tough tomorrow, and I like this quote too.
Alshon is a number one. He is a fucking stud, and I think he's a top 5. I personally think he's a top 5 wide receiver. I really do. The numbers don't speak for themselves. I understand that, but he catches everything coming his way in a big key situation, and that's exactly what you want.
Well, great catch radius, as I like to talk about when I talk about DeAndre Hopkins. You know, and obviously DeAndre is in a class of his own because he didn't drop a ball all year. But, I mean, when I look at Alshon outside of the speed-wise, you know, same kind of thing, a great catch radius. Put a ball up, he's going to go up, and he's going to go up and get it.
Look at the catch in the Super Bowl, the first touchdown. I mean, who jumps that high up? Nobody. Other than Julio Jones, maybe. That's about it. And Lindell Cunningham on YouTube says, I want to send Nick off with a ring. If he gets another ring, it'd be tough to send him off. Like, I mean, you don't have any rings 50-plus years, and the guy wins you 2. Like, how do you just send someone off like that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, but other people are different and weird, and I get it. I just don't. I'll never get it, but whatever. We have some weirdos in this fan base. Anything over there on Facebook?
Well, I mean, that question was asked earlier. If you win the Super Bowl, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if someone gives you 4 first-round picks for Carson, do you get rid of him?
I don't know. I do it the other way.
What's the other way?
Well, I give Nick an extension, right?
Yeah.
And then I deal him.
To who? For what?
I'll get a first if he wins another Super Bowl.
Yeah. You think he'll get a first?
Yeah, if he wins another Super Bowl, I will.
Yeah.
On how important the quarterback position is in this league.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm just, you know, if he balls out, you know, I would sort of go the opposite way. But, hey, I mean, I would like to be able to have the conversation. How about that? You know what I mean? I'm not against having a conversation. So,
that would be a great offseason.
You know, the way this city is and the way, you know, we've been at each other's throats and everybody has, right? I mean, this is typical Philly. Yeah. This is what would happen.
It's great.
This is exactly what would happen.
It's like we won a Super Bowl. Everyone should be happy, and everyone's debating the quarterbacks.
Yep, it's all it's talked about. It's nuts. Dirk says he wants the ball first. I don't know if I read that one out.
Yeah, I want the ball first as well, Dirk.
Josh Lang says, "Call us butter. We on a roll."
That's what my friend says at the casino when he's winning in blackjack.
Samung says, "Let the coach and owner and GM worry about that." That's great. Yeah, I will. I will. I'm good. It's not my job. Yeah. I don't want to have to do that. Brian Batty says, "As an Eagles fan, how do you not love Alshon Jeffrey?" And that's spot on.
Yeah.
And I love what he said. Like going back, he's like, "I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going back. I got work to do. Like, you know, we got a job to do. I'm not worried about a homecoming party."
Yeah, it's a little homecoming.
Well, we got a job. He was clear. We got a job to go down there and do.
Yeah.
Or go across there and do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's simple. You know, I just right now I think we're the hotter team. We're gonna go in there and win. That's just what I think. Is there anything else over there on Facebook? We got some over here.
Brian says, "Fuck Kamara. He's a big baby back bitch."
Brian Wilson?
No, Brian Batty.
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 Okay. Kevin McDonald 500 says, "What's up, guys? Great show so far as usual. But if Nick Foles keeps winning, do you think they will listen to trade offers, like 2 first-round picks from Oakland if they trade Carr?" Listen, I mean, personally, I've seen, and Tom's not going to like this, but I've seen Carson to the point where I would actually listen to offers because I don't think he's ever going to go back to his form of 2017. So if you give up the right deal, maybe 3 first-rounders or maybe 2 and a second, I would consider it. I don't think he's going to be the same player ever again.
Why?
I just don't. I think.
Why?
I think he's damaged.
Why?
Mean, why? Because of what I've seen this year.
Why?
I'm going to keep whying you because now you got a fucking MD over here.
Okay.
Now it's Kyle Meager MD.
Right, okay.
Like what the fuck? What are you, Doogie Howser, babe? Okay. Like you you were doing doctor shit at 15? Like, tell me why. Tell me medically why he's damaged goods.
I tried, but my SAT scores weren't that good.
Stop. But
yeah. But, I mean, all right, so basically the reason why I'm saying I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be the same player ever again. Well, if you watch that Colts game week 3, he did that little Houdini escape that he did a lot last year where he just exploded out of pressure and ran to the side. He didn't do that right after. He didn't do that anymore right after that game, and I think he tweaked his knee on that play. And if you go back and watch all the film from Carson Wentz this year, he zoned in on Zach Ertz. He didn't usually do that. And to me, that's a QB that has a mindset of a broken person. And he hates, and you're not going to like this, he hates the fact that Nick Foles is winning. He
doesn't, dude.
Yes, he does.
Come on, dude. You have no insight on that.
Yes,
that's foolishness, and I'm not gonna let that on my platform because that's fucking foolishness. They're fucking friends, dude. They're close, and now you're gonna fucking agenda thing. This is when I attack you. This is when I'll get up in your throat for saying false bullshit to fit a narrative again. Here we go again. You're telling me if you want to tell me that the dude internally doesn't love it, fine. But to tell me like
yes, internally I'm saying
he
hates it. He hates it.
So you know that for a fact.
Did you see him on the podium last year? Next year, that's me. And then he was like almost about to cry. Like the guy internally hates this.
So a competitor who works his fucking tail off doesn't like being hurt.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, welcome. Well, good, Kyle. I'm glad you came up with that all on your own.
Yeah,
you're a big boy now. You came up with that all on your own.
Thanks, Mud.
You know that this guy doesn't like being hurt. No shit.
He doesn't like being hurt, and he doesn't like seeing someone that's already won a Super Bowl going on to win another one in the playoffs. Inside, he's like...
He didn't go on to win another one yet, so slow the hell down.
Listen, inside, he's like, what the fuck is this guy doing with my job? And I'm being honest with you. But
that's not how you started. You said damaged goods, so I asked you why.
I think he is.
Why?
I just think he is.
What medical reasoning do you have for that?
He's injured every fucking year.
Dude, everybody in the NFL is banged up yearly.
Every year?
Everybody in the NFL is banged up yearly. Everybody.
Listen.
Everybody, dude.
I was watching the Joe Rogan
This
podcast
isn't a two-hand touch.
Okay, Arian Foster, he was about the same as Carson Wentz in my opinion.
Fucking Arian Foster was 30 years old when the injury started to really.
No, he was injured every year.
Good. You're comparing a running back now, so you go ahead.
I'm comparing a quarterback that's running for his life every single fucking
You're comparing a running back to a quarterback's injuries, okay?
I'm comparing a quarterback that runs into two linebackers when he doesn't have to.
Different injuries too. So it's not like their list of injuries are the exact same.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah. You're comparing them to a guy that the injuries aren't the same on the chart. Their injuries aren't the same.
I'm just trying to tell you why I think Carson Wentz is damaged goods. But I don't want to. I don't.
You obviously do.
But I'm bringing up Nick Foles winning, probably going to win another Super Bowl in my opinion. Okay, that'll be 2 in 2 years.
What does that have to do with? You said damaged goods. It's nothing to do about Nick. It has everything to do about what you just said.
Because you're not listening.
I've listened.
You're not.
Oh my God. What else do I have to listen to? I can repeat everything you said.
All right, listen. Nothing is a
You compare Arian Foster.
Side, okay, what I'm basically saying is, if someone gives you a deal, an offer for 3 first-rounders for Carson Wentz, how do you not entertain that at this point? Carson Wentz is my age. He's 26 years old. All right, he's young. Okay, you would have to entertain 3 first-rounders, knowing where they are. If they're 3 first-rounders in the top 10, maybe top 15, you have to entertain that because you're going to get 3 studs for the price of 1.
Brother, I don't disagree with it. You got to entertain everything in this league.
Yeah.
When somebody picked up the phone to call you, or you ain't a good GM. Yeah. But I will promise you something. You do that deal with the devil, and I swear to you, he will own our ass for years.
Why?
He will own it for years.
Well, we'd have 2 Super Bowls.
Because you are fuck. I don't give a fuck about what happened in the past. Now you're a Cowboys fan. I care about the here and now. Last year's Super Bowl's over. Yeah. As soon as somebody hoisted this year, and it ain't us, it's irrelevant anymore.
True.
It's over. So, dude, you called him damaged goods, which I'm not going to buy into at all. When you're talking about a quarterback that started playing 9 months after 2 big-time knee injuries, okay? Still played at a pretty good level. Inconsistent at times, but still played pretty good football.
You act like he's the last good QB that's ever going to come out of
college. Bro, listen, Dad. You don't go up and give up assets to get up to number 2 in the NFL draft, to draft your franchise guy. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. To then go ahead 3 years later and deal his ass. You don't do it.
But you did it to go get a Super Bowl, and you got your Super Bowl. with or without him, it doesn't matter.
You're still with them.
You wanted to get that.
Who
one
says he
Super
couldn't
Bowl.
did the same thing last year?
I don't think he could.
You're a fucking idiot, dude.
I'm
They
dead
were
serious.
lighting people up. They were lighting people to fuck up, and you were probably sitting here. Shut the hell up. You were probably walking around on your little YouTube channel, yelling and screaming that they're going to the Super Bowl, and now you're gonna tell me he couldn't have did it? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. They say that team with him wasn't good enough to go win a Super Bowl last year. You're all lying. Then every one of you out there is a flat-out liar because we all were running around. Week 5 of the season against Carolina, I was sprinting down my street running the Broad Street. So don't tell me that y'all didn't believe when we were lighting people up throughout last year before he got hurt that we weren't good enough to go win a Super Bowl.
Do you think he would have put up the
Answer
same
the
numbers
question.
in the Super Bowl?
Answer the question. Why wouldn't he, Kyle? He was putting up better numbers than any QB in the
Foles
NFL.
out
Hold
Tom
on.
Brady.
He was putting up better numbers than any QB in the NFL last year. So why couldn't he have? Why couldn't he have?
I'm just saying I don't
Give
know.
me a reason why he couldn't have.
Experience
Experience.
in the playoffs.
Nick's been in one playoff game, bro.
Yeah, he's been
before
in
that.
one. You know how many
Come on,
cards?
dude. Come on, that's weak. That's weak. You want to go round 2? You want to go round 2?
Ding ding.
Give me another reason why he couldn't have went and won. I hate that because you don't know.
Style of play. You know?
Style of play. They were dropping 35 on everybody's ass. So what are you talking about? Style of play. They were rolling motherfuckers. Did I miss something?
The defense played a lot better with Carson Wentz.
You get me so upset.
Why?
The defense played great last year when he was in.
To an extent.
Oh my God!
Did you watch
Frank? Please go bring me up last year's game run through.
Did you watch the Rams
Please
game?
go bring me up
Did you watch
because
the
I want to
Rams
expose asses again.
Which game
last
do you
year?
want?
Last
year's game?
up through Carson until he got hurt.
Did you watch
Because
the,
he claims the defense didn't
Up
play
to
well.
Carson.
He didn't watch the
All right.
Rams game last year where Carson Wentz is going toe
One
for
game,
toe,
Dad.
toe for
One
toe
game,
with
brother.
Jared Goff, and then all of a sudden Nick Foles comes in, the defense plays complete shutdown.
Bro,
You didn't see that.
What are you
They went back
talking
and
about,
forth.
dude? He threw a TD pass to Alshon, who you claim he doesn't throw the football to. Okay,
Every
on
blue
one
moon,
knee.
yeah,
on one
every
knee.
blue- yeah, because he was right there.
Oh, okay.
He was literally right
so
in
now
front
we
of
take
him.
credit away from it. You're such a scumbag with this shit. You take credit away from a guy throwing a TD pass with an ACL, MCL tear. You're gonna try to take it away.
It hurts.
You're gonna say, "Oh, he was right there." Have you ever dropped back with 300-pound men running 4.4s coming at you? Shut up.
Can't say I did. No.
I have. Okay, now 4.4 guys coming at me.
You're a
But
quarterback.
I played a little when I was a puppy. But listen, you can't say that he couldn't have the same success in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's foolish.
I don't think how I don't see
Kyle,
how you measure
he
it.
would have never been hurt, Kyle. So how couldn't he have continued that success throughout the rest of the season? Frank, you got him?
All right, let's see it.
Give me week 1, Frank.
All right, let me get the whole schedule up as if the.
I don't think I love arguing with somebody more than I love arguing with you.
All right, so. So week 1 against Washington,
Yeah, just give me a score.
30-17.
Oh, bad defense. Go on, week 2. 30-17. Boom. There's one 30-point game. Go ahead, Frank.
All right, week 2, that was the loss, 20-27
Okay. That was in Kansas City.
in Kansas City.
Yep.
Week 3, the Jake Elliott game winner, 27-24.
We gave up that many points to the Giants. Yep. Okay.
All right, week 4, 26-24
Okay.
at LA.
It's a lot.
Week 5,
It's
30
on the road against the Chargers. So 24 points
They weren't
in this
good
league's a
last
lot. They didn't score a lot of points?
They weren't good
Okay.
last year.
Keep trying.
week 5,
Haven't given up over 30 yet defensively. Go ahead.
Uh-oh, here we go.
34-7 against Arizona.
Yeah, bad
Arizona
defense.
sucks.
Oh, okay. Now the narrative changes. Okay. Defense wasn't playing good.
At Pete Morelli and the Carolina Panthers, 28-23.
Yeah, and we had 10 penalties that game. 11.
28-23. So another game held under 24.
Week 7, 34-24.
To who?
Washington.
That was Monday. Was that Monday?
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Monday.
It was the Monday night game,
Yeah.
yes. Week 8, 33-10 against San Fran.
That was in the rain, too.
It was in the rain.
Yeah.
Week 9 against Denver, 51-23.
50 burger against, who was that? Brock Osweiler?
Brock Osweiler, yep.
Yep. See, I know my shit.
All right, we had the bye week 10. Week 11, 37-9 at Jerry World.
That was bomb.
I'm just exposing you.
Dak
Go
Prescott.
ahead.
though.
Keep going. Defense didn't play well. Go ahead.
Dak
Week
Prescott.
12,
9-7 at the half.
31-3 against Mitchell and
Yep.
the Bears.
Defense didn't play well again. Go ahead. Two
All
straight
right.
weeks under
We-
10.
we-
2 straight weeks under 10.
That was
Week-
a good one.
Week
3 out of 4 under 10.
All right, he's talking.
Week,
Okay, well, I gotta respond on what he's saying.
week 13 at Seattle, 10-24.
Yeah, we got our ass kicked that game.
Week 14, leading up to Carson's injury at L.A.
Yep.
43-35.
Yep, and a shootout.
Jesus
And that
Christ.
happens. And a shootout.
And then Nick came in and saved the day.
So our defense played well last year.
And then the rest of the
kind of.
games, we gave
Not
up
kind of.
29, 10, and 6 points, respectively. So
I honestly,
last 3
to be
weeks.
honest with you, I'll give you a little credit. I think it was a little bit more Carson. To be honest with you.
They were swinging. They got early leads last year, if you remember.
If you look at those games, it was more Carson.
They had really good first halves last year, first quarters. What they really did was get 7, 10-point leads on you. And what something we did really well last year, Kyle, is offensive, we were lights out in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
When we got in, we converted. And that's a big difference in the start of this year.
We
where,
could never do that before.
But all I'm saying to you is to be open and understand that this kid's going to, and I don't want to keep this conversation going, but this kid's going to get a full offseason to get his body right. And then, listen, if he's out for an extended period of time last year, like yearly, then the conversation needs to start being had. But if he gets like a rib bruise next year and he's out for like one game, it's not injury prone. Like there's like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody gets nicked. Like Nick's nicked. Nick got nicked. You know what I mean?
Ribs, yeah.
And if you weren't talking about a playoff game this year, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It might be a week where he gets rest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody in this league gets hit, beat up, and is on their ass, and that goes from quarterbacks all the way through. Everybody gets nicked. Mm-hmm. It's the pain tolerance. Like he played through a bad back for X amount of weeks now. He came up on the injury report week 6, and if you look at his numbers, okay, you say, well, it's pretty good for everything that you battle through. You didn't get any help from anybody else.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Right.
And that's the only thing that sort of sucks about this part is that if he would have got this help throughout the year, if he just would have got this help that first Dallas game at home when we stormed back, we tied it up 2 different times, only to watch them go to length of the field on us and get another 7. If we got any of that help, these guys stepping up, this whole year could have been different. The 70-point leads that we blew, like this year was complete the opposite of last year, where things would go right for us that didn't this year. And guess what? Credit to this football team
for stepping up. Yep, exactly. Anything else over there before we? Yeah, it's 3 minutes left on the break.
Sean Kyle says last year 31.
Oh, that guy, I love that guy.
31 turnovers last year as a defense.
Yeah,
well,
Sean Kyle.
It's pretty good year, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the Bears being one of the best in the league at taking the football over this year. They've taken away 28 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, we took the football more away than the Bears did. Mm-hmm. Samong says Nick will never get blown out. Shut up, dude. Brian Willis. Hold on, we got to go in here. Right. It was a family member. Where the fuck did you go, brother?
Obviously, it wasn't that good.
No, it was great. It was great, but we got chit chatty.
All right.
I think it was. I want to say it was Josh Lang. Was it Josh Lang?
Yeah, you
Glad I found you guys. I grew up in Philly. Now I live in Myrtle Beach. Hard to find good Eagles talk around here.
Sir.
Love you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for jumping on. We got shows every day.
Always.
Daily. Wilson chiming in. What's up, boys? Just tuning in. Meager with the Foles jersey.
Yes, sir.
Exclamation mark. Time rocking a new hoodie. Lennon must have made a purchase. No, brother. I learned how to use Amazon and Nike.
New hoodie every week. New hoodie every week. I love it.
You guys are fucking worried about what Wilson. I don't even want to talk about it. Go put your stupid fucking visor on, you clown. Sean Kyle. Nick never gets blown out. Nick's had 3 career games throwing under 100 yards. Factual talk.
Only 3.
So your score prediction, because I gotta get out to work. So
that's fine.
Give me your score prediction, and I'll give you mine. And
24-10 Eagles.
Yeah, I think you already gave that to me, right?
Yeah.
I like that though. So you got it really shutting it down defensively.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 24-17. It could be a 24-14er.
Mm.
But I just feel like we're gonna find a way to come out with a win.
Right.
But like we talked about, it's not a shot at Nick. I can't have them early turnovers this week.
Right.
You know what I mean? I really can't have you turn the ball over at all.
Right.
And hopefully that he's a veteran enough to go into this kind of environment where they're going to be fired up to play football. Obviously, the fans are. They've been waiting a minute to get playoff football back in Chicago. So there's a lot riding on it
they're going to be upset.
in Chicago. So he's got to take care of the football. And it's not just him. The running backs, everybody. And defensively, how are we going to win this game? Our front four has got to be the best front four out there tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Got to be the best. Fletcher Cox, and every time he goes up against other D linemen that are considered the best in football, he finds a way to show up. Well, tomorrow's another opportunity. Khalil Mack's the best lineman in football.
Yep.
Go have a better game than him.
Exactly.
And then we're going to win.
Yeah.
We're going to win.
I can see it. Let's do it. And we're wrapping it up. We're going over to the break. I will be here. Tom has to go out to work. We'll discuss the NFL wildcard weekend picks, Sixers talk, They've been pretty decent. Flyers suck, and anything goes. So, yeah, we'll see you on the side of the break.
See you tomorrow morning, fam.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Okay, and we're back from a very quick break. The second half of the Hooligans is brought to you by Skizano Sports Center, 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 856-889-3434, SkizanoSports.com. We are live from the Real Talk Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey, and we are back with our wild card picks. Mr. Frank Vesky? Vesby. All right. We are back.
We are back.
We are back. And
Without Mr. Arnone,
Arnone.
he's got things he needs to take care of.
Yep. But here we go.
Here we go.
All right. Colts Texans. What do you got?
All right, Colts Texans. Man, I know we were talking about this on Wednesday, especially on the fix. I mean, part of me wants Houston to win. Houston, a heavily favored team to actually make a very strong run to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But after seeing what happens with that Texans O-line, it kind of worries me a little bit on what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, Lamar Miller coming off an injury. But the Colts playing hot.
Frank Reich.
I know Frank Reich has made those crazy playoff runs before.
Right.
Going back to 1992, especially when they upset another team from Houston.
Right.
So give me the Colts on this one. I think they're going to win this one. Maybe if they're going to try to make it into the next round, maybe this is going to be a one-hit wonder for this Colts team this year. I think they're a couple pieces away from making a strong run. I'll take the Colts.
All right, I'm going to take the Texans. The reasons being, they're home. Deshaun Watson is playing with a vengeance off of the leg injury last year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
DeAndre Hopkins is a stud. Lamar Miller playing?
He is ruled that he will play.
Okay, Lamar Miller's playing. I think their offensive line is kind of crap, but at the same time, Deshaun Watson is mobile, so that really doesn't really mean anything if he just wants to get away from pressure. The defense has a bunch of studs. Tyrann Mathieu, I'm drawing a blank with them, but I know there's a bunch of studs on that defense.
There are some studs on that defense.
J.J. Watt.
Of course, J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, they have studs.
Yeah.
Give me Houston at home. They haven't won a playoff game in actually 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Last time they won a playoff game.
They had Brock Osweiler. It was against the Patriots, and that was not a win. That was a loss.
Yeah.
But they won a playoff game that year to get to that spot.
I believe they did have I know they made the playoffs before.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
they beat Miami or someone.
I really don't remember. I remember their first ever playoff visit. I remember people were making a big deal out of it. It's like, oh my goodness, Matt Schaub is going to take the Texans.
Yep.
For a big run, and then they acquired Ed Reed, and then they shat the bed that year.
Yeah, they stunk.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Indy on that one. Been playing hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Houston on that one because I like everything I just said. I just think that Deshaun Watson's playing with a vengeance, and I think he's gonna get his due diligence. So, I just Houston. It's a toss up, guys. Like if you're gonna bet on it, stay away.
It's a really good toss up.
It's a very good toss up. Now we got another one. Dallas versus Seattle. Seattle is the road team. What do you got, Mr. Vespi?
I actually have Seattle winning this one.
Seattle.
Another team that is very tough, especially going into this playoff. They're usually that team that nobody wants to face. Luckily, Seattle is on the road, so this is not against the 12th fan. But I think the Seahawks have definitely surprised me this season. I had this team probably finishing out of the playoff race back in the preseason and possibly thinking that this was going to be the end of the Pete Carroll era in Seattle. But the Seahawks definitely stepped up. Russell Wilson, being that wizard that he is, I think he's going to do it again against Dallas. Give me the Seahawks.
At first, this was a tough game for me to pick, but at the same time, I go with I'm not going to say storylines because that really has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
Dak Prescott will be a major factor in this game. If he performs like the Dak Prescott that played last week, throwing over 300 yards, I think you have a good case that the Cowboys would win this game by 10 points. You do have Seattle on the other side that has the experience with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and Lockett and all these wide receivers, these serviceable wide receivers. They have Carson, the rookie out of Auburn, I think it is.
Chris Carson, I believe Auburn. Yeah.
All right, Chris Carson out of Auburn. You know, I'm gonna pick the Cowboys just because I think Dak Prescott will have a good day. I think.
You think he's gonna have a good day?
Yeah, I do. I think Dak Prescott's gonna be serviceable enough to throw over 300 yards again. Zeke's going to go off. They have Amari Cooper, has been an absolute stud ever since he's arrived in Dallas. Yeah, give me the Cowboys today. So right now I have Houston and the Cowboys. All right, next game.
I got Colts and Seahawks, and Chris Carson went to Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Okay, who was the one from Oh, it was the running back on the Detroit Lions.
Kerryon?
Yeah,
Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, he went to. Okay, I get that a little mixed up.
Yeah.
Next game we have the Chargers versus the Ravens. Very good game.
I love this game. Two really good defenses, two really impressive quarterbacks in both Phillip Rivers and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson being the youngest quarterback to start a playoff game. So that's going to be very entertaining.
Yep.
The Chargers, dark horse team to make a Super Bowl run. I know a lot of people are going to be banking on them, especially Mr. David Roska.
Yep.
I actually got the Chargers winning this one.
The Chargers?
Yeah.
I agree. I have the Chargers winning this one as well. And actually, I didn't change my pick. I've had this one since the beginning.
Yeah.
The Chargers, to me, were the team coming out of the AFC until they lost to the Ravens the first time, and they showed a little bit of their true colors.
Yeah.
I think they get vengeance on the road, and the Chargers will expose a young quarterback in Lamar Jackson who isn't ready for the playoffs or that scene. But I don't know. It's another one. Another one.
Joey Bosa against Lamar Jackson will be very
intriguing
to watch, especially the running game. Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler taking on Alex Collins and Gus Edwards. It's
a prime matchup.
It's a prime matchup,
yeah.
And I mean, I could say this could be a toss-up, but I got the Chargers leaning towards a win on that one.
I do as well. And then we got the Cowboys. No, not the Cowboys. The Bears and the Eagles Sunday.
I know you gave your predictions. I actually have a closer game than expected. I have the Eagles winning 27-23 on this one.
High-scoring game.
High-scoring game, but very close games between two very similar offenses, both guys from the Andy Reid tree running West Coast offense systems.
Mm-hmm.
Nagy also has a little bit of an upside with his offensive coordinator in Mark Helfrich, which runs a spread system, which actually works best with Mitchell Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
And the next factor going to this one, when I was talking about it on Wednesday, Trey Burton has familiarity with that RPO system, maybe gives a little bit of a heads up on what the Eagles are going to run on certain plays.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be close. Very similar matchups, especially with the running game. I mean, you have Darren Sproles being that important X factor of a running back. You also have Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, and also Benny Cunningham, who could be the Darren Sproles of that Bears offensive system. Defense-wise, it's going to be very entertaining. If Lane Johnson matches up well against Khalil Mack, we've seen it happen before,
right? Where
Lane definitely stopped Khalil. Yeah, it's gonna be close. Give me the win for the Eagles.
Yep, the Eagles. I have the Eagles at 24-10. I think Nick comes to play.
Yeah.
Of course, Khalil Mack's going to come in and blitz a lot.
Absolutely.
And they're going to drop the perfect game plan to get away from Nick as quick as they can.
Exactly. And I think Alshon Jeffrey is going to have himself a field day, a great homecoming for him. So give me an Alshon as my offensive MVP of that
game.
Defensive-wise, give me Fletcher.
Fletcher?
Yeah.
I'll go Jenks. I think Jenks is going to step up, and I think he's going to orchestrate a victory.
All right.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, guys, tomorrow's game is, it's something to build off of from last year. Now, Tom was down here before. He said, what to you guys, well, this is my poll question. What to you guys would be a failure or success when it comes to the Eagles and the playoffs? Now, I was raised to believe if you don't win the big one, your season's a failure. Always is, always has been. Now, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm the Yankee way, okay? The Yankee way is championship or bust. If you
Right.
don't win a championship, what are you playing for? You know
And
what
then
I'm saying?
if you really want that championship, you can go all out with your spending. But
Exactly. Exactly. And it does have to perform on the field,
Right.
that money. And then
Exactly.
that's what the Phillies should be doing.
Yeah.
Harper and Machado at once. There you go. And then maybe Trout down the road.
Yeah.
Um,
Haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jeff Evans.
Jeff Evans. Yeah. Prime Twitter account.
Yeah.
No. You know, the Philadelphia Eagles, if they win the Super Bowl again this year, it would be a great story. It would be a good underdog story like Rocky. But, you know, yeah, you go into the playoffs, especially the way we went in there, I'm expecting you to do some magic.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you lose this game on Sunday, is it going to suck? Yeah, it's always sucks to lose.
It is going to be tough, but looking at the adversity we had throughout the season, especially with the domino effect of injuries that have occurred, especially starting in the beginning of the year when it's like, all right, let's improve our linebacking core.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Orlo gets injured. And we also happened to release Michael Kendricks around the same time.
Yep.
Then the injuries kept piling up. We lost McLeod. We lost Sproles. We lost Wallace. Wentz goes down. Everybody seems to be going down, but yet we rose to the occasion, especially those last 3 games of the season, being hopefully not becoming the first Super Bowl champion ever to go into the offseason with a losing record.
Right.
So that playoff run is going to be something special, but if we lose against Chicago, I'm not going to be disappointed. I mean, we overcame the adversity. We avoided what people were going to expect, the Super Bowl hangover.
Mm-hmm.
So I would consider this not much of a disappointment, but it's one of those what could have been seasons for me if everybody did not get injured.
And Frank, I'm just happy that we're in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, same here.
With that streak that we rode.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if we rode that streak and the Minnesota Vikings didn't lose, we would have been thinking, what if?
Yeah.
What if we got into the playoffs?
Exactly.
But now we're in the playoffs, so if we make whatever we make out of it, you know, it's a positive.
We just got to make what we have out of it.
Yeah.
And you take a look at the teams that are a lot better than us. You take a look at your Saints. You take a look at and the Rams.
Yeah.
Those are 2 teams many people thought, all right, they're going to be the Super Bowl team, that team representing the NFC.
Right.
I actually had the Saints going into the Super Bowl.
The Saints are everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
to go.
they're the favorite. Everybody's riding on the Saints. People were also riding on the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at you, Rosca. I know you want the Rams to win the Super Bowl.
They're not the same without Cooper Kupp.
They're not the same without Kupp, but they're still playing great football as always.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it was going to be a tough road to repeat, and especially what the other NFC teams did to get there. The Bears acquiring Khalil Mack.
Yep.
The Cowboys, surprisingly, the Amari Cooper trade working. You take a look at the Rams improving their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints trying to improve off of that secondary as well.
Yep.
But you know, it's going to be tough to repeat, and just by looking at it, it's been a fun season. another fun season as always.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a really fun season. You know, leading up to that Rams game, the season, in my opinion, kind of sucked.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're going into that game and everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna get blown out. You're gonna get blown out."
And even we said on the fix
Yeah.
that we didn't want to give score predictions because we're like, all right, Todd Gurley's gonna run all over us. All right, here's a touchdown pass to Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks, and every other Rams player that they had.
Exactly. You know, it's just it's a season of destiny, in my opinion, because here you are facing, in my opinion, the best team in the playoffs. I think the Bears are the best team in the playoffs.
I mean, they're a very complete team, the Bears.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah,
They
and
are
they're 12-4 this year. They've beaten some of the best teams. They lost to the Patriots at the beginning of the year, and they completely bounced back after that. Like balance-wise, I think the Bears are the best team in the playoffs. Hello, Ralphie. And if whoever wins this game is going to go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So that's just what I think of that.
Yeah.
You know, Birds are back, baby.
They are back.
They are back. And we have Rosca in the comment section saying Rams will win the divisional round, and tomorrow my Chargers will win. He's a 2-teamer.
Yeah, he's an LA guy. He loves his LA teams.
Gotcha. So he has 2 chances.
He has 2 chances. An LA guy living in Arizona, if I'm correct, Mr. Rosca.
And he said Trout is staying with the Angels and Harper to the Halos.
I mean, I love his Angels takes. His Angels takes are kind of funny. Trout was saying with the Angels, it is going to be tough to lure him away. I mean, the Angels are going to try hard to keep him forever, but there's that hope that the Phillies might make a move for him. But I mean, it all depends on what's going to happen with that franchise in the next couple seasons.
Hey, Ralphie, I loved when you were standing up and you're like, suck it, New York, right here. It was great. He said sing the fight song. I don't think I could do that.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
either.
I don't want to do it.
We don't have the bed to do that.
No, definitely not. Now, if you bet me money, then yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Victor Martinez says, I'm hoping Cowboys versus Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Hey, listen, I am too. I would love that matchup. I think we would absolutely smoke the Dallas Cowboys the way we're playing right now. And, it would be amazing to send their asses home. Now, on the flip side, if they were to beat us, I would be devastated.
Yeah.
So
I would probably throw up a little bit, but
just a little bit.
That Seattle game, that's going to be one of the toughest games for the Cowboys going into this playoff round. I mean, a hot team in Seattle versus another hot team in Dallas. So, I mean, that it's another. I feel like it's one of those toss-up games, but I just don't see it as a toss-up though.
Yeah. It's gonna go one way or the other.
Yeah,
I think one team blows.
It all depends on who's gonna set the tone first for that game.
Fly Eagles fly, Ralphie. How about that?
Fly Eagles fly. EAGLES Eagles.
No birds. But yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
I would say it's been a while since we've been in the playoffs, but it hasn't.
Yeah,
it just feels like it.
It has. It's well worth, especially going into the playoffs as on your road to repeat.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
It is. Now, do you want to talk about the Sixers?
Yeah, that whole Jimmy Butler thing. I'm not.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. I'm not buying into it. I mean, I'm starting to have my issues with BB right now because I kind of do agree that he's not utilizing that offense right.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. I like BB, but it's now with the pieces that we have a fully healthy Joel Embiid, a healthy Ben Simmons, and then we landed Jimmy Butler. I just don't know if he's using the pieces right.
Well, the problem is Jimmy Butler has been a known cancer his whole career, and you're bringing him onto a team where he actually meshes, and he's still having a problem.
And he's still having a problem, but I think that's more of a coaching thing.
Right.
But I just don't know. I just think it's a non-issue right now.
I've always given Brett Brown some I've always been negative towards Brett Brown when it came to the Boston Celtics and every single time we'd face them because we can't beat that team. Everyone knows it.
Right.
But at the same time, I've got to be on the coach's side here because Jimmy Butler, you're coming into our house.
Exactly.
And, this is Embiid's team. Now
it's a Joel and Ben team basically.
Yeah, you're an ice cold shoot. You have ice in your veins when it comes to shooting at the end of the game. But it's Embiid's team, and I'm going to stick with the coach on this one because you just play the game, man. You know, you're here. You're on probably one of the best teams you've ever been on, and let's go get this championship.
Exactly.
Not even a playoffs.
Let's make a strong run into the playoffs. Hopefully, we can overcome the Celtics.
Yep.
But I mean, there's still plenty of season left. We have the All-Star game. We have the trade deadline coming up.
Yep.
So I think if the team makes at least one more move, maybe to help that team out, maybe to bolster the bench a bit, I could see us possibly beat Boston.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's gonna be a very tough playoff run once we get in there.
No, it is. And you know what? Right now we're faced off against Boston in the first round.
Yeah.
And the way I see that is that's a big no bueno because you're facing off against a team that beat you with their B team last year.
Exactly.
But you did add Jimmy Butler, so
you did add Jimmy Butler, which definitely helped.
Does.
But there's still a lot of question marks.
It's
especially
a spread offense,
and especially it's the offense. It's the offense.
Yeah.
You're missing out with Markelle, who has been very disappointing.
Yeah.
And then you have a bench that's very hit and miss, especially with Mike Muscala and TJ. and the lack of appearances by like Shake or Jonah. So that also raises a couple issues.
All right, Russ, and we have no bench whatsoever.
No bench. Barely any bench. I mean, if we got guys like, if we kept Marco and Ersan Ilyas, Marco Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyas,
Well, that was my problem.
It would have helped us.
Well, that's what I was arguing with Tom in the offseason. I was like, we just got rid of players we didn't add.
Right.
And, in my opinion, you have to do more. Like, you can't rely on the feds, like Fultz, Embiid, Dario, and Simmons. They're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone. So you just brought in Butler, who, in my opinion, is a better player than both those players combined.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, listen.
I mean, and even with the draft, I mean, Shaman has turned out to be a great pick.
Yeah.
Which I actually wanted them to take him like somewhere in the late round.
Did you want Bridges?
I actually wanted Bridges. I mean, especially like what we saw at Villanova, I think he would have easily meshed into the Sixer system, but just how everything unfolded after the pick, the press conference, and then figuring out he got traded for Jair Smith, who now has like a foot and peanut allergy issue, which makes me wonder.
So
it's like,
weird.
Yeah, I've never felt so bad for a guy. Like the local kid finally, like especially winning two national championships with Villanova. Basically, what we were witnessing is a kickstart of a winning culture back in the city of Philadelphia, only to see him to get traded for a big question mark in Jair Smith. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the draft. I mean,
we're not good with the draft.
I mean, the draft. I mean, I think that was that even a Colangelo draft, if I remember correctly?
It probably was.
Probably was
everything
the last
leading up to this. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially missing out on the star hunting thing. That was.
Oh, geez, yeah, he said we're going star hunting.
Yeah, star hunting, Twittergate, trading Mikal. That was probably like the worst like couple weeks as a Philly fan in recent memory.
Yeah, especially with the process we had to deal with for years. And we're trying to get this new talent. We're giving LeBron James a suitcase full of money, and he picks the Lakers.
You pick the Lakers, which I mean, unless if you're Ralph Delavecchio, is probably
because he happens to be a Lakers fan.
Yeah,
in New Jersey. But I don't know how LeBron chose the Lakers, but if he would have came here, we would be a dominant team right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We
110%.
would definitely be a dominant team, but a lot of it was like a lot of the more upcoming ventures that he's doing with, especially like the acting, the TV deals. I think he's got like a couple other shows and all that, especially with HBO and I believe he had a show on CNBC, Cleveland Hustles, I believe.
Yeah,
those are all based out of LA. So I think him being close with the ventures and all that. I think, and he also has a house out there, so it's like couple houses, and then I guess that's like a second home for him in the off season. So I mean, I don't blame him, but it's like
come on,
you have more upside and young talent with Philly than you do with the Lakers, especially with the Ball family circus. It's like, come on, man.
I just hope that not Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons could figure out his jump shot.
Yeah. Because
if he can, he could be a really good player. But right now, I'm a little concerned because the guy shows that he's kind of a little bitch when it comes to shooting shots at the end of the game. So
exactly,
I mean, we just gotta see. It's no bueno. It's no big deal, but whatever. All right, Flyers talk. I see you're wearing your Flyers hoodie today.
Yeah. I know the Flyers are playing today, I believe.
Yeah, they're playing Calgary.
I believe they're playing right now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're tied 1-1 right now.
Of course.
Johnny Gardeau scored.
Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Hockey.
Who's starting for goaltender?
For
Is it Hart? I think it might be Hart because Neuvirth's out.
I know Neuvirth played the last game.
Yeah, it's Carter Hart. He has 17 saves and 1 goal.
All right.
Carter Hart's our future, man.
Yeah.
Like, he really is.
I'm very excited for Carter Hart.
He's playing in front of a bunch of scrubs, but I mean, at the same time, this gives him the experience.
Yeah, it gives him the experience. I mean, especially this was the move everybody was waiting for the past 2 years. It's like, all right, when are we going to call up Carter Hart? I mean, I'm glad that we drafted him. I'm ready to see the future. Trust the prospects at this point. I mean, especially with what Hexall was building in Lehigh Valley. Especially when we got guys like Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee, Carter Hart, Felix Sandstrom. That's your future right there, and I love how we drafted. I think once everything gets set in stone, especially trying to figure out which veterans are we going to keep around for the next couple years, especially with the constant rumor of are we going to trade Wayne Simmons, are we going to trade Claude Giroux, are we going to trade Andrew McDonald or Radko Gudas?
He sucks. Andrew McDonald's like one of the worst players I've ever seen.
Exactly. I'm still baffled why we still have McDonald, but that's one of those trades I'm not a fan of.
No. Now I will say this: it's kind of the perfect situation for Carter Hart.
Exactly.
Because there's really no pressure on the kid since everyone knows the team sucks.
Yeah.
And if you let up bad goals, now's the time to do it.
Right.
Because you're not going anywhere this year. In the offseason, I think you should trade Giroux. I think you should have traded Giroux 3 years ago when you had value for him. Now he's just going downhill.
I mean, he's still the leader of this team. I think they're keeping him around just for the leadership. And I think at this point, I mean, I would not trade him, make him retire as a Flyer. I mean, and then you find your next guy coming up in the wings, in the halls, in the draft.
And that is the problem. You seem like a kind of guy that like fears giving up. Like you don't want to give up Giroux because you like him.
Yeah.
You like him. To me, I like Giroux. I don't love him. And the reason being is because I don't think he's a game changer. I think he's more of a stat patter.
Right.
And when you need him in the playoffs, he rarely ever shows up.
Yeah.
And I think you need someone like that Crosby type of player, even though I hate Crosby. You need someone like with the skill set of Crosby to come in that changes games around. When you're not there.
Going into this draft, if the Flyers decide to, all right, let's just give up the rest of the season. I mean, look at this rate, it's like a huge what if for this team. It's like, will they make a decent push for the playoffs? I mean, going into the beginning of the season, I thought this team would be a fringe wildcard team at best.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too surprised, but I think at this point it's like, all right, let's just get ready for the draft, see what this new leadership is going to be doing, especially with Fletcher. Are they going to get a guy like Joe Quenneville?
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
it's interesting.
It's going to be interesting depending on where Scott Gordon's going to be. I think they should keep Gordon as a coach, maybe as an assistant.
Not as the head coach, though.
Not as the head coach, but keep him around. He's going to gel. He's going to gel with his younger players, which is going to be a huge upside. Get a guy, especially like Quenneville, make him that guy. But I mean, looking in this draft, like the top pick right now, Jack Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point it's like lose for Hughes, but we'll see what this team's going to do.
Whoever brought up Gordon with Carter Hart is actually genius because you're bringing up the coach that's been coaching Carter Hart since like for 2 years, 1 year. I don't even know. He was with the Phantoms, I think.
Who, Gordon?
Yeah.
Gordon's been with the team for I think 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, so he came up with Carter Hart.
Yeah, he came up with Carter Hart, which is a smart move.
Yeah. So that's a good mindset thing right there. Jack Hughes, tell me a little bit about this player.
Jack Hughes, he's currently on the national development team for the United States. Currently at the University of Michigan. Many people are saying that he is going to be the next Patrick Kane. Is he a forward? He is a center. So
that's another center, though. We have a ton of them.
It's another center, which I mean,
Nolan Patrick,
Giroux. And then you also have Jordan Wheel as well.
So
it could actually help out a little bit. I mean, you're also looking at like guys like Scott Lawton, Yuri Laterra. So, I mean, especially he could develop give him at least another year or two, maybe if he decides to play with the University of Michigan or maybe with Lehigh for a year or so, and then bring him into the door, bring him in through the wings, especially if you're going to trade your guys like Jordan Wheel, which, I mean, he could be one of those prospects going into, especially when we look into the upcoming expansion draft in 2 years. Seattle, that upcoming Seattle team might take a guy like Jordan Wheel, or Scott Lawton, or Yuri Laterra as part of their pieces going in.
Yeah, because I remember when Vegas last year took Belmar.
Yeah,
from us.
I loved Belmar.
Yeah, he was a good fit.
Great fit, but I wish we could have kept him longer.
Yeah, just a little bit, but you can't decide the outcome of that.
You can't decide the outcome of that, and knowing what the Knights had done all last season.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got Fleury too.
They got Fleury and Malcolm Subban, which I'm glad he's finally getting his starts.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kid developing, especially throughout his time in the Ontario Hockey League with the Belleville Bulls and fortunately being stuck behind Tuukka Rask for most of his time in the Boston Bruins system. But I'm glad he's finally getting his shot up in the NHL.
You know what I would honestly do with the Flyers right now?
Yeah.
I would just completely just cut the whole like not cut them, but like I would just wash everything out and just
start anew.
Just start new.
Yeah.
Like that's all you got to do. Like it's been a while since we had a goalie. We have a future goalie right now.
Yeah. You have basically 2 future goalies.
Defense stinks.
Defense stinks.
Offense is what it is.
Offense
it's very
is
vanilla at this point.
Yeah, it's very hit and miss. I mean,
Yeah.
you have the young pieces. It's just like getting it all together.
Yeah.
It's like which veterans are going to stay around, which stay, which go, which contracts are we going to give up? It's a lot of question marks
and I feel
with
like
this season.
I feel like we have one of the highest salary caps in the NHL.
Yeah,
and we don't even have the talent to like prove that we do.
that we can lure
Yeah.
your big free agents. I mean, going into the free agency, I mean, take a look at
Someone
that right
wanted
now.
Seguin from
Tyler Seguin.
Yeah.
I like Seguin,
yeah.
but
I
don't know how
want
much money
Joel
you're gonna get.
Quenneville. That's who I want.
I do want Q.
Yeah.
I think Q would be the huge pickup going into.
He's a good coach
2019.
for young players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what he did with the Blackhawks in that dynasty.
with our pick Patrick Kane,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were supposed to have him.
Oh man,
Yeah, but we ended up with JVR.
which I mean wasn't a bad pick. I mean, he's finally back.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, looking at this free agency class, I mean, the top free agent going into the season is going to be Erik Karlsson.
Mhm.
Erik Karlsson, Tyler Myers, Jay Bouwmeester. I mean, the top.
I like
it's
Bouwmeester a lot,
It's a very defensive heavy free agency,
which we need.
which is what we need.
Yeah.
Take a look and see if there's any other free agents.
Put some defense in front of Hart.
Put some defense.
Yep.
I mean, and then the other free agency, you take a look at Jason Spiza, Sergei Bobrovsky, another goaltender.
Nah, I'll leave Bob.
I would love Bob. I mean, Artemi Panarin, another one.
See, that's another thing that makes for a conversation.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Bobrovsky's great over there in Columbus. Yeah, they're a small market team.
Yeah,
He didn't perform that well here.
right.
Like, you look back at some of these games, I remember when the Pittsburgh Penguins shot a puck from center ice
Yeah.
and it went in. So, I mean, some people don't have the mindset to play in Philadelphia. And
Yeah.
you have to get that thick-skulled person to fill that gap, you know?
Yeah,
And I don't know. Like, someone like, I feel Jonathan Quick.
John Quick.
Someone like him you could trade for and put in front of Carter Hart and
yeah,
have Carter Hart be the
right,
backup mentor.
exactly. I mean, and even looking into the rest of this class, Matt Duchene's also a free agent coming out of Ottawa. Jordan Eberle. I mean, it's a pretty good class.
Yeah, really class.
And especially a lot of young guys. So if you have the right salary cap, if you trade the right assets and free up that cap, I mean, you can make a huge splash.
I'm doing whatever I can to get rid of Voracek. I really am. Like
Mm.
I like him. I don't love him.
Right.
I think he's snake bitten at times. And to me, you can't have snake bitten hockey players on your team because it never turns out well.
Right.
So I mean
that huge contract is going to be
big. Yeah.
It's a huge contract, which I mean, looking at it now, it's not the smartest of contracts at the
Yeah.
moment, but I could see something where they could trade a guy like Voracek
Yeah, definitely. Or Giroux. I mean,
or Giroux.
yeah. Some people don't want to get rid of him, but he's what,
it's-
31 now?
Giroux is 31, I believe. Let me check.
He has some value.
He has some value.
Yep.
Giroux is 31.
Yeah. He has some value right now. And honestly, I'd cut the cord. I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I know he had 103 points last year. Doesn't do anything for me in the playoffs. And I see that just send him to a contender,
Yeah.
get some picks back, and I go from there.
Get a lot out of it.
Because we're not going to win with Giroux. We're just not. And like I said, he's not a game changer. Like as many people that love him in the city of Philadelphia, he's just not a game changer. And you need someone that you need those one or two pieces that can fill what is missing. And
Pretty
Nolan
much.
and the thing that sucks is Nolan Patrick looked good his first time he was up here, but now he's kind of dwindling. And
He's kind of dwindling. I think he might be held back, but I don't know.
yeah,
It's especially with this Flyers team. It's like just a huge question mark.
yeah.
I just don't know what to think about this team at the moment. But it's very
It just sucks. We always get
Yeah.
fucked out of the better pick. Like, we got Nolan Patrick, and the Devils got Nico Hischier. And Hischier's an
Hischier,
absolute
yeah.
fucking stud. And
I
I
mean,
don't know.
It was basically a toss up between Patrick and Hershiser.
Now, I'm not
but-
saying Patrick can't be a stud. Maybe he'll be a late bloomer.
right.
But right now, it's just like a number 2 pick. You expect a little bit more out
Yeah,
of.
I mean, he's what is he? 19, I believe.
20 now. I
He's 20.
think.
Yeah, he's 20.
Yeah. So he's young.
Yeah, he's a young guy, so he needs. I mean, it's going to take a while for him to be that guy, but
Yeah. I mean, Giroux didn't become into himself until he was 22.
yeah,
So, and he was like the 18th pick overall.
Giroux, he was the
Late round.
late round. He was the 22nd overall
22nd.
pick in 2006.
Yeah, so he was a late round pick that panned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it time with Nolan Patrick,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you are about to rip up your core.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That core is going to be very tough on which one is going to go first. I know the guys over at Hockey Happy Hour. I know they're going to spend a lot of time with what's going to happen with the future of this Flyers franchise.
Right.
I mean, they've been talking about it for weeks. It's like, all right, they got Carter Hart now. They fired Ron Hextall. They fired Dave Haxtell. Now let's see what this
well, now you can
Flyers
rip up
team-
anything and try anything you want.
exactly. So it's basically what's going to happen now for this Flyer squad.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm sick of losing to Pittsburgh the way we do.
Oh yeah.
You know, we get blown out. You go on the road and you beat them, which makes no sense.
Right.
And they come back home and get shelled.
Or having I'm especially I'm fed up with like all the comebacks and then losing in overtime. That's the one I do not want to deal with.
Yeah, when we're down 5-1 to Tampa Bay, we came all the way back at home.
Yeah.
We lost 6-5 in overtime. It's not fun. I mean, you're getting a point, but like, it's just not worth it, you know. So I'm a diehard Flyers fan. I've watched this team since I was young. When fucking Keith Primo put the puck in with 1 minute. I think it was 1:31 to go in Game 6 against Hobby Bolin.
Yeah.
And we tied the game, and Simone Gagne
Oh yes.
wins the game, and we lose in 7, unfortunately. Tampa Bay went to go face Calgary and won. That was the last time that I thought the Flyers were really contender up until that 2010 team where we got lucky. We got really hot and
that was a
lucky.
crazy run.
It
I remember that run, especially when that comeback was completed against Boston. Like I wasn't in attendance for that game. I wasn't watching the game. I was in the middle of my senior prom.
Yeah.
That run, and I was getting updates from that game, and I'm like,
I was at my junior prom. I was no shit. I'm serious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
It was May 4th.
Yeah.
It was May 4th.
Yeah, and I remember like, especially when they were talking about, all right, let's tell everybody who the king and queen of prom was. I'm like, I remember it's like, hey everybody, the Flyers won.
Yeah.
Yay! And people were like, oh good, they won. All right, let's figure out who the king and queen were. But
Yeah, because back then you couldn't really check ESPN. You had to like do the little text.
yeah,
score
you
updates.
had like the app and all that,
Yeah.
which was annoying, but
Yeah. And then you saw that they won in overtime.
yeah.
And that's why Simone Gagne is my favorite Flyer ever.
Oh yeah.
Because the guy was just clutch. And the guy had a broken foot against the Devils. I'll never forget it. I was at the game. It was Game 5.
Right.
And we were home, and the guy broke his foot.
Wow.
2 weeks later, he's
Jeez.
back in the lineup.
Yeah.
Hey, hockey players are the toughest sons of bitches on
Oh yeah.
the
They're
planet.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I just love watching that sport. It's like it's just so oddly fascinating. I've been to like 3 different NHL arenas, so it's like I remember my first NHL game. Like I don't remember the whole game, but I remember going to a Flyers game. It was against the Rangers, which I found out that it was Wayne Gretzky's last game in Philadelphia.
Yep.
So I remember going to that game. Then the second NHL game, my dad's a huge New York Islanders fan, and we went to the Coliseum
Right.
for Al Arbor's 1500th game coaching against Pittsburgh. I remember going to that game. That was a very fun game to watch, especially like you could tell my father loved going to it again. His first Islanders game in years. So part of me just loves watching the Islanders. It's my dad's favorite team.
Right.
And then college-wise, been to a couple Predators games.
No, and that's a shame what happened to the Islanders because they took him out of the Coliseum and put him in the Barclays Center, which is one of the worst hockey arenas on the face of the earth.
I mean, I thought it was a great move at first, but
because it's new.
It was a newish arena. I mean, it could have brought, especially the glamour, especially what Brooklyn was at the time. You look at the Nets at the time; they were an up and coming team. You had, I'm trying to think of the owner, but Jay-Z, and then you also had the Russian owner as well. So that could actually lure some guys from like your Russian talent, your KHL talent to come into the New York Islanders, and especially at the time the Islanders were up and coming with John Tavares.
Yep.
And then
they got rid of him.
They got rid of him, which I don't blame Tavares because basically that entire GM situation they gave up on Tavares. Which I mean I don't fault him for going to Toronto, and especially your childhood team. It's like, you got to take the deal.
Yep. Big time. You know, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, would you trade Giroux straight up for John Tavares?
I mean, the value that Tavares has on any team, I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Giroux for Tavares.
So you think it would take a little bit more?
A little bit more for Tavares. I mean, the Islanders fan base called him Baby Jesus for a reason. So
He's on the Maple Leafs, right?
He is now on the Maple Leafs. So I would love to take Tavares. Austin Matthews, Tavares. Yep. I mean that Toronto team's going to make
it's nice.
They're going to be that team to.
And that building is deafening.
Oh yeah.
In the playoffs, it's ridiculous. They love their sport up there.
Oh yeah, gotta love them Canadians.
It's crazy. And for United States City, we have one of the best hockey fan bases in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it hasn't been the same since maybe 2010.
Yeah, it hasn't been since that run.
Yeah, but I do remember when we faced the Washington Capitals being down 2-0 at home 2 years ago, where all the wristband stuff happened.
Oh yeah.
I do remember when we scored that first goal, the building just went nuts.
Yeah.
Because it was like the first playoff game we've had in 3 years.
Yeah, and that was something that we needed.
Yeah,
something to rally that team around. But I mean, of course, we lost to a really good Capitals team.
Yeah,
so that was a very
the Capitals are weird, man. Like they win last year when you're not expecting it, and then the other years when you do expect it, they choke.
Exactly, and that was my big worry with the Capitals. I thought if they didn't win this year, I thought they were going to blow up the team, especially with all the assets they had, like TJ Oshie, Alexander Ovechkin. I thought they were going to trade Ovechkin to a contender to finally get his cup. But I'm just so.
He was really happy. He was like, "Holy shit!"
I like, especially watching the final seconds of that game against Vegas. It was like, it's
pure.
It's pure. It's like something we haven't seen since when Ray Bourque finally lifted up that Stanley Cup after 22 years of not winning one. He finally wins one on his last game of his career with the Avalanche.
And Ovechkin's the kind of player that you want on your team because not only because of his skill, because he loves the game so much.
He loves the game so much, and especially with the Crosby versus Ovechkin rivalry. Finally see Ovechkin get his cup. I mean, I absolutely despise Crosby.
Yeah, he's a great player.
He's a great player, but I just can't stand the Penguins. I can't stand Crosby. But just seeing Ovechkin getting it, just straight up chills as he lifted up that trophy.
And that's another point on Giroux I was about to make. You know, everyone asks me all the time, is Giroux up there with Ovechkin and Crosby? And the reason why I say no is because I don't think his heart is as big as theirs. Right. I think he loves the game, but I don't think he puts it on a pedestal like they do.
He could be the guy that could be a fringe superstar, but just hasn't overcome that hurdle yet. Especially, I mean, part of that is the recent seasons of the Flyers where they haven't been consistent with playoff visits.
Yeah.
And so I think that also plays a role on why he hasn't been the guy many people thought was going to be great, like your Crosby or your Ovechkins and your Tavares, to say the least. But that's Giroux. That's Giroux for you.
It is Giroux. It definitely is. But you know, I hope they do something soon. Maybe blow it up, maybe not, maybe get on a run. Who knows? I've seen it before where we lost 10 straight and then we won 10 straight. So you never know. It's a long season, but right now things aren't looking too good. And I don't even know what that score is right now. I think it's still 1-1.
I think it's still 1-1. Last time I checked.
Is Calgary any good? I don't even know.
Calgary, I don't even know. It's another question mark one.
Oh, 25-13-4. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're a good team.
we're underdogs at home. So right now it's 1-1. So that's a pretty impressive game
Yeah.
from Carter Hart.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, the Flames are a team on the rise. I think they got a couple good pieces on them.
right. But yeah, it's interesting, man. It really is. I can't wait to see what happens. But
Yeah.
it's been years.
It's been years.
I've been watching the Eagles since 2001,
Yeah.
and they finally won last year.
Finally
so
won it.
hopefully the Flyers can take off of where the Eagles left
Exactly.
and see what happens there. But it's been a great show, man.
It's been great.
It really has. And we're going to bounce right now.
Bouncing. All right.
All right.
Let me get the and nothing happened with Machado. I've been checking.
Nothing happened with
Nothing
Machado. No
happened.
Jeff Evans today.
No
and,
Jeff Evans, but I did look up some things, especially from the very reliable MLB trade rumors, saying that Chicago did issue an offer to Machado, which is close to around $200 million in that value. Other than that,
Nothing.
Let me check the Bryce Harper stuff. I haven't heard anything about Bryce. Let me see. I don't think anything huge for Bryce happened.
Let me see something real quick.
Man,
Nothing yet.
because I know the Dodgers had an offer, and I don't think it was working. So like the Nationals were like back in the race or something, which I don't really buy.
Right. Now I'm looking at Manny Machado right now on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nothing right now as of yet. But they're saying that the lead favorite would be the Yankees.
As always.
Yeah. As always.
Let's see. Bryce Harper. Nothing as of yet.
No. I don't think they should be taking this long to make a decision.
I think it all depends on like who's gonna pull the trigger first on making their announcement, because it's like, all right, if one's gonna go to one team, then the other's gonna go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Or maybe they're collaborating with one team to make sure it works for both. I mean, that's Scott Boras for you.
Yep.
But like everybody else is talking about, like you say, Kikuchi, who got acquired by the Mariners, which I think be nice.
It would be really nice.
A great move for them. Especially they're also blowing it up as well. So maybe start anew with. Let me check the Phillies news. See if.
No, I don't think. As much as Phillies fans want one of those two players, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Do you think they get one of them?
I don't know, man. Like I'm like looking back and forth at it, and I'm like, what? You have to look down the road. You can't just look at money. You got to be like, are they really in contention for like the next couple of years?
Exactly. I mean, you look at the Dodgers. They've been a team that's constantly winning year in year out, and especially when they traded Yasiel Puig, which I think is probably who I think is probably the most overrated player
of all time
in the major leagues right now. I think that also raised the red flag. It's like, all right, maybe they're going to try to make that sales pitch to Bryce play. I mean, he is a West Coast guy,
right?
So that definitely would try to lure him over. Yeah, if I mean, I don't think they're going to go empty-handed. I think they'll at least get one of them. I hope they get Manny more than they do with Bryce. Especially when Clintock said for a couple of years, all right, we're going to try to get Manny, and then you look at the reception that Manny got in his last series when he was in an Orioles uniform. That fans definitely wanted him, and then we blew that trade for him, which I think at the time was. Now looking at it now, it's like, all right, I think the Orioles are somewhat winning that trade.
Yeah.
If Manny doesn't resign with the Dodgers, but
you know what I think's going to happen?
Yeah.
I think one of these teams are going to get both players, not just one.
Yeah.
And I think it's either going to be the Yankees or Phillies when it comes down to it.
Now if they get both, oh man, it's going to be very.
Because then they'll have Rhys Hoskins,
you'll have
Cesar Hernandez,
McCutchen.
You'd have a lineup.
You're going to have a really good lineup, and I think that's going to cause a lot of changes, especially when you look at guys like Maikel Franco and especially Odubel Herrera, which I think if they get Bryce, I think he's going to get shipped, maybe along with Franco, to get some prospects, or maybe another piece of the bullpen, or maybe another starter. So I think if in the case if both of them get acquired, I think you're going to see bye-bye Odubel, bye-bye Franco.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter at that point.
Doesn't matter. And then you also look at guys like Nick Williams, who could be a reliable fourth outfielder. But I could see them trading him as well.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with the Phillies is, I give the fans a lot of shit sometimes about like the 2 titles in 120 years and whatever. But if you guys step up, put your balls on the line, sign these 2 guys.
Sign stupid, basically.
Make your team a fucking all-star team. Then you can be winning these titles consecutively. You can not be a laughingstock. You can be a team that everyone fears and everyone hates. Right. Like, that's what living's all about, And, the Phillies were primed to make a lot of runs in that 2008 era.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they only got one.
They got one.
But at least you had fun,
You had fun. I mean, especially like you're very hit and miss with the legacy of Ruben Amaro. Yeah. He did win the World Series, but that was with Pat Gillick's guys.
Yeah.
Then he tries to build his dynasty. Then you trade basically your entire farms for like Cliff Lee and Roy Oswald and Hunter Pence.
Roy Halladay was a good one.
Roy Halladay, which I think was a great acquisition.
Probably one of your best players of all time.
Probably, yeah. Despite the short tenure he had in Philadelphia, he did a lot for this city. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
I hope he gets into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I mean, he's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame wearing a Blue Jays cap.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
But definitely a great pitcher for that Phillies team. Like,
he threw a no-hitter in the playoffs.
No-hitter and a perfect game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that we had a guy like Halladay.
Yep.
That was something. But, I mean, it's a shame that he didn't win one, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Halladay's one of those dime in a dozen.
Yeah.
Like, you don't find them.
You don't
find pitchers like that. And the fact that he chose, did he choose Philly or did he get traded?
I believe we traded him. I believe it was a 3-way trade. Because I think we also traded Cliff Lee.
Mm-hmm. That was a bad signing. That turned out to be a really bad signing.
Yeah,
for Cliff.
And like the fallout that we had with Cliff Lee with all the injuries, which I mean,
happens.
It happens. I mean, it's baseball. You never know what if. Like, had he stayed healthy, maybe we could have had a second World Series title. But I mean, that was a tough one.
I think your biggest bump in the road was having Pedro in as your starter in the World Series.
Pedro Martinez.
Yeah. Because when Pedro was in Yankee Stadium, both of those games, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because you're like, all these people hate him as it is, and it's like, it's a lot of pressure, and he's old.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, at the twilight of his career, still effective, but
not as effective.
Not as effective as he was in the Boston Red Sox run.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'll take with it what you got, but I honestly thought that 2009 team was better than the 08 team.
Yeah, the 09 was a better team, but especially when you come up with the Yankees, especially with the moves that they made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was gonna be tough, but I mean, the Yankees. I jokingly say that they bought themselves a World Series title.
I think that's the one year where you can actually make a case that we actually bought the title.
Yeah,
because we got Mark Teixeira, Nick Swisher,
CC Sabathia,
AJ Burnett. We got all these guys and that weren't on the team the year before.
Yeah,
and we won it.
And you won it.
And A-Rod happened to be a great piece to the team that year.
Right.
And
Hideki Matsui,
World Series MVP.
Coming out of nowhere.
Yep. He was like a PlayStation game.
Yeah, it was like nuts. He was like putting up PlayStation numbers. It was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
He hit 667 in the World Series.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I'll never forget it. It was a great World Series.
Yeah,
it really was. And I was actually at game number 4. Yeah, I was at game number 4 where we went up 3-1.
I think my uncle was at one of those World Series games.
Yeah, was it the one where A-Rod shot it off of the camera?
I really don't remember. I remember it was one of the home games.
Yeah.
For the Phillies. I just don't remember.
Which one?
I just don't remember which one.
Yeah. That was a good World Series, though.
It was a good one.
All right, and with that, we are going to wrap it up. It's 3:00. Thank you, Frank.
No problem.
And go Birds. Big game tomorrow. We'll be back next week discussing Eagles and Saints. Come on back next week. See you later.